Gladiators are going to be able to get the advantage in this series. Let's see exactly what they're going to do. And by looking at this, Tundra have fallen back on this. Let's take out some summons because that Broodmother, that Visage being looked at. Gaming Gladiators, we've already talked about it. You're not going to let through Naga, Invoker, Lone Druid, and Sniper. So
they left Sand King though.
Yeah, Sand King's in the pool.
It was one of the three. It was either going to be Sand King, Lone Druid, or Sniper, and they feel that this Sand King is easier to shut down than the other two.
Yeah, I figured they wouldn't ban Invoker because, like, I don't know if that's like a first pick overall hero, but Gaming feels like it is, and it's an issue for the hero pool, so they had to make their choice. I really think Naga, Sniper, and Lone Druid definitely can't go through. No. Sand King potentially can't go through either, but it is going through, so we'll have to see. This hero has looked absolutely ridiculous in some games, especially, I mean, actually Ramses has been really good on this. We saw a clip earlier where he burrow striked in with the Epi, stole the Aegis, a very pivotal point in that moment, that game, and we've also seen 33 just become an unkillable hero. When you get the Bloodstone, and then somehow you get the Vampire Fangs on top of it from the neutral item, and now your hero's just unkillable, and then straight into the Wind Ranger. That was the other S tier carry left in the pool.
I can understand the Invoker ban. I feel like Topson looks exceptional on this hero, and we've seen Invoker beat matchups that
Tundra Esports turn to ban.
Who likes to be incredibly active can be even stronger in terms of his rotation. So I can understand this. Letting the Sand King through may end up being a mistake. Popson has not played it yet, but we said the same thing about him playing Viper yesterday, and he was good enough at it. So you do have to worry about that flex if you're gaming. It could still go mid.
It's definitely a very strategic choice because you think about the strengths of Tundra. I feel like you want to give Topson an uncomfortable hero, and on top of that, you want to make sure that their offlaner Ramses is playing a more greedy hero. That's what I would try to put their draft into. Like Sand King on the offlane, sure, it's very, very strong now, but it does need to farm a lot. And the games where Ramses, he needs to farm a lot and he needs to be greedier, those are the games where I feel like Tundra, they struggle, you know, to find the balance. Like who's going to be making the moves? Is Topson able to make a move, and he needs to find a hero to do that. If he doesn't find a hero to do that, even though the Viper pick, it was really good yesterday, but I felt like he wasn't 100% comfortable on that hero.
Yeah, if I know my Tundra right now, I feel like you ban Alchemist here. You have your carry. I feel like the Revenant's Roach build should not be good for Alchemist, right? And I feel like that is, I know my Tundra, so they ban the Alchemist there. Now you're in a situation where you don't have Lone Druid, you don't have Wind Ranger, you don't have Alchemist. I'm not sure how this Wind Ranger with the Revenant's Brooch versus Luna will go, but Luna's a high armor hero, so I imagine a lot of the agility carries are not something you're particularly looking at. So yeah, so far Gaming Gladiators looks like they've done their homework.
Maybe we go back to the Weaver. It's been quite a few days since we've seen it, but I
need to see more though. Like this hero can only be picked when there's heroes like Shadow Demon is good, that don't have like hard lockdown.
And you can't kill the bugs when you turn on your ulti on Wind Ranger, so it's kind of good against that.
Yep, true. I mean, I don't think Gaiman's going to pick it, so I do think Tundra can leave it until that fourth pick to get it.
If you're really pro, you could buy Manta, kill the bugs with the Manta illusions.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Not a bad idea.
It's not worth it. Just go the normal build and kill everyone.
Enchantress.
Oh, I like the Enchantress a lot. This is a hero that Tundra played yesterday, but it went a little unnoticed, or not unnoticed, just we didn't talk about it as much because there's a lot of other things to talk about, but both Whitemon and both Soxa became absolute turrets in the game. At some point, it went long enough. They were just sitting in the backline, just doing probably the most damage in most of the team fights. It can be a very scary hero once you get a lot of farm. It does similar things as Shadow Demon to the Wind Ranger. You can just purge off the Wind Run and just start right-clicking this Wind Ranger hero.
I mean, this toss is really good against Wind Ranger. You get to disable her during her whirlwind. You get to kind of use Snowball to kind of block out some of the damage from whirlwind. So overall, this is a very nice pick against Wind Ranger. Yeah,
and we talked about it. The way that people are countering Wind Ranger is to
survive, right?
Yeah, survive the whirlwind plus BKB combo, and you know, Crimson Guard has been the answer to that, which Centaur is a Crimson Guard hero, of course, on the other side. Let's see. Pipe of Insight, very solid game for that here against the Sand King. You always need a pipe buyer. I think Centaur will probably end up picking that up.
We've talked about this a lot. With SD, Centaur is probably one of the best pairings. And for your disruption, you can set up the stun in the lane if they are together.
I still feel like Weaver with a bracer, so he doesn't die in one hit to the SD Centaur combo. It still looks pretty good. Like then you run Soxa on the Enchantress with the Sand King in the off lane. That's a solid lane. It's range melee pairing. And then you've got Tusk plus Weaver, range melee as well. Whitemon's most played hero is the Tusk.
Yeah, it could be good. I definitely don't think it's bad, especially versus Chen, another hero that doesn't have a lot of lockdown. I'm not sure if there's something better. I mean, the Luna doesn't look incredibly bad either. You do have the ability to kill the illusions with Shadow Demon with your W now, so it's a little bit of a different matchup.
The Chen creeps are pretty good at soaking up the Lucent Beams from the Luna ult, though.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, right? Like, in those early fights, Luna won't be great, but later on, just the glaives will just chew through all the creeps.
Sure,
so
yeah.
One way or another there. Curious to see what he is thinking about. He does like his Morphling as well, which is a hero that will inevitably outscale this game and has a pretty good lane matchup. Will he play for tempo in the Weaver, or does he want to secure more of like a late game hero into this game? And of course, there is always the Dragon Knight if he wants to go down that route. That's a hero that's been very popular for him. Lots of splash, cleave damage, doesn't care too much about the Shadow Demon illusions. Sure, the Wind Ranger is something that might be a little more difficult to answer, but I still think this is a hero that he is just very comfortable on and just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really good against the Chen. Like you said, I think the tempo is he's somewhere in between the Morphling and the Weaver. He can kind of do well in the early, mid, and late. Late game probably not as strong as Morphling can, but the DK is like it gives them everything, you know. Right now, if they need to defend towers early, the DK can show up, deal with some of the Chen creeps, and so he's gonna have like a pretty decent lane into the center. And you definitely want to go like the Revenant's approach, right? Wind Ranger against DK here.
Yeah, I think so.
That's your third item after the Gleipnir BKB?
Yeah, probably, unless the game is going so well and DK is so far behind, the Gleipnir magic damage is enough. But we'll see. I like the Revenant's Brooch, like no matter what. There's very little anybody can do to deal with it. I guess if they have like pipe BKBs, you can go Daedalus instead. But Daedalus also works with the Revenant's Brooch, so...
Does it though? I thought they patched it where you can't crit anymore.
That's true. Yeah, they did that.
So you can't actually... It makes it so you can't buy Daedalus anymore once you go that item, which is the only downside really. But it feels like in certain matchups it does not matter.
Okay, what is TopUp gonna play?
Yeah,
he's gonna...
Oh, let's guess what TopUp your favorite part of the draft.
Yeah, you guys have waited till the end to do it this time, so I'm very proud of you.
Well, yeah, it's the way the Tundra always baits us too, because they always leave TopUp's hero for last pick unless they get Sniper.
It's a blind hero.
That's why they ban the Huskar. They don't want to get hard countered. I mean, let's see, what are the heroes the Huskar really hard counters? Because I don't feel like Huskar is a very good hero. Unless you can like dumpster mid. What comes to mind is like Ember Spirit, Earth Spirit, these melee spirit type heroes.
Mainnya sore, Cok. Gua kira malam, Jir.
Nature's Prophet?
Does Huskar counter Nature?
No, I mean...
Oh, you're just...
Huskar's banned, so...
Gua milih siapa?
They could pick the Nature's Prophet if they ban it out.
They need more damage from Queen of Pain.
I mean, they do need more damage. I think they need
kemarin main
obviously
anjing,
Inch does a lot
apalagi
of
si
damage.
Nisa lagi on fire.
Sand King does a lot of damage as well, same with DK. But these heroes need time. They need something for that early game damage.
Yeah,
I was looking at like these Earth Spirits and stuff, but not sure if you want to go that route either.
Do you feel right now with
GG sama Liquid deh,
showing for Tundra, they're not able to make this game go late enough for
Kalau
the
Liquid GG ya udah Liquid
to have that impact. This is what the mid is going to have to be. You go for those pick-offs and try and make sure they can't make movements on the side of game and Gladiator.
Yeah, some sort of active hero.
I was thinking Rubik, but there's terrible spells to steal in this game, so probably not. I don't know, from his hero pool, it looks like Earth Spirit looks likely. Or
berharap Tundra lawan Liquid nih anjing biar
everything else is banned. Like the Puck and Nature's Prophet were the ones that made the most sense going into this last pick here. They get removed.
Last time we said a hero was likely, we then decided that it was unlikely because it's Topson. Does that mean we
kalau
go back
gue
around
Tundra
and
tuh
say that it is going to be Earth
errornya
Spirit?
harus
I
no
think you
bolos
try and
malam.
not get in the minds of Topson and you just say what's good.
Earth Spirit's very good here.
Okay.
I like 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼.
Yeah, I mean, Batrider also, they're banning like the mid melee owners.
What is it about 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝑼 that you like?
Everything else is banned, like the Invoker, the Sniper, the Puck,
I'll
the
give you
Nature's
one.
Prophet.
He's a cheap hero. They don't have a lot of budget now.
Yeah.
They need something
They
that
spent all their budget.
Yeah, they did.
What do you reckon is the average budget a lineup can have here, Winter? You like to calculate the numbers a lot.
I mean, there's no specific number.
Okay.
It's just based on my feeling. Sand King's gonna be farming Ancients, DK wants to farm Ancients, DK wants to farm lane creeps, Sand King wants to farm lane creeps. So you kind of need a hero that is gonna pick up the scraps, you know?
One item and he's able to do so much. That's what he needs.
All right, Sand King mid. We didn't really think they would do that because like, oh, they have Ramsey's hero, but Ramsey's like, I have another hero too that's still in the pool, and the Mars, so they're gonna put the Sand King mid. This is kind of a better version of 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝘄𝑼, the Sand King, I want to say. They both do a lot of AoE damage, but we kind of thought that Ramses would be playing this offlane position, but he's not. So now you're in a position where you see the Sand King mid, and you probably want to punish it, and I feel like there's some decent options left. If you want to pick their ranged heroes that can just click the Sand King, but I don't know if you can truly beat this hero in lane. I've thought before, like, yeah, you can beat it with some ranged heroes, but it seems like he always seems to get his farm.
Can you just go for something that's really good in game? Maybe a Timber can speed up the game. Like you play really fast, you're really good with against their heroes.
I don't know if you win the lane though, like, because like, you just.
I don't think you care about the lane. You just care about what's good for the game, though.
For melee strength heroes that you're playing as an Enchantress that you can't attack, but you do pure damage and kill her through her healing. I actually really like the Timber.
I'm not sold on it, but it on paper looks good. And they're going to go with the hero that just makes it so, okay, this actually makes sense against the Sand King. And this is one of the few heroes that probably can push him off. Because what happens is Sand King has to right-click the wave, get up close, and just do his caustic stuff. But Viper's not going to allow that. And on top of it, you're going to get your corrosive skin, which is going to keep proccing on the Sand King indefinitely because you can't really control it. But then the Sandstorm, they really want to crush this mid lane and make sure Topson can't get active. It's pretty fast. I think this is definitely punishing for sure. It's on the same routes of the Timbersaw, where you're just going to like crush the lane, and you have that massive amount of magic damage to deal with these strength tanky cores.
Yeah, you have the break against the DK, which is always nice as well in the game. But for Tundra, I feel like they have like a double off-lane lineup to kind of slow the game down for this DK, and they are going to be really counting on that to work. They're going to have to also deal with the pressure from the Chen. I imagine the Chen is going to move to the mid lane very early with the SZ. You want to just punish the Sand King, take his tower, and Tundra have to be ready for that.
I really like this last pick from 𝙎𝘾𝑖𝑛. It is basically the Timbersaw that we were asking for in terms of it's a melee strength owner, but it is better than the Timber because it will actually do very well against the Sand King lane for the reasons that you guys listed. And if they're making space for a DK to farm with these two offlaner type heroes, DK gets broken by Viper as well, so it also solves the win condition of Tundra. I think 𝙎𝘾𝑖𝑛 found a very good last pick here with this Viper.
Well, look, luckily we're ending on a positive note for Gaming Gladiators because we're heading on down to the stage with Slacks and their coach, CY.
Ya kayak kurang gitu kalau Enchantress tuh, Cok, dia serius. Iya.
Kemarin kayaknya sih kebetulan ini. Anjay. Efek Dota Plus, Cok. Nah, kira-kira nih. Team of the kill the game end. Wah, berat kali ya. Sensor teleport sih tak ada. Topson kali ya. Nah, ini Ramsey deh. Rosan sih bisa berapa kali ya? Bakal main lama gak ya? 02 aja deh. Gue yakin kayak sih kita 2 Rosan.
It's early in the morning here in Copenhagen, but I see a stadium filled all the way to the top with die-hard Dota fans. To kick off the last day of TI, Copenhagen, are you ready? Bullshit! It's been a long journey for us to be here in this arena. It's taken 13 years of internationals for TI to come back where it all started. 2 decades of this game's history leading to us being in this moment right here, right now. So I ask you again, Royal Arena, are you with me? That's what I'm talking about. Let's get this game started, and let's get the last day of the International going with Game and Gladiators versus Tundra.
Couldn't ask for a better setting, and you might not be able to ask for 2 better teams outside of that final boss awaiting the victor here in Team Liquid. Watching on as some of their nemesis for the year are going to duke it out in this lower bracket final. And all eyes are perhaps on this man here, the crowd favorite 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 in a very difficult matchup, a melee hero versus the Quinn Viper. Let me tell you something, Austin. I'm a little familiar with Quinn, and I'm a little familiar with his hero pool. You give this man Viper, he just starts to foam at the mouth because all of a sudden that lane just becomes completely in his control, and he is very experienced in lane domination, perhaps the best mid laner in the world in terms of mechanics, and this is a very one-sided affair. It is not a question of what can 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 do here. It is a question of how much Quinn takes advantage of the matchup. It's going to be a tough one. We saw what Malrine was trying to do yesterday with the Monkey versus the Viper. Just roam around the map, look for some moves, dodge this lane as much as possible. Could be a similar story here. The one upside is at least you can build some stacks for the Sand King and go into that jungle with a bit more efficiency.
Now, you say you know Quinn, you got some history there, but I believe you also have some history with the man across from him in 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼, and I believe Quinn also knows 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 pretty damn well, as they've had a few matchups and a few TIs before. And you said that this man is just a force to be reckoned with on the main stage at International specifically.
I mean, I can speak for it, but I think every player who's gone up against 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 and had their TI dreams shattered will also speak for it. In some ways, this man is the Grim Reaper of this stage. He is the last opponent you want to face. I can tell you that from personal experience. This is going to be a very tough match for Game, and particularly since they fell down here, right? This is a team that's used to kind of, once they figure out the meta, they own the tournament from there. And this has been a big misstep for them against a foe they're very familiar with in Liquid. So I think Tundra have the momentum going into this match. They're feeling very confident off of a strong win yesterday, and
perhaps that fear and that momentum is exactly what Game and Gladiators are trying to address so early on, shutting down the mid lane, but it's the off lane that is in trouble, where Tundra find first blood on Tofu.
Really nice setup here from the Enchantress. Pure will get the last hit, exactly what you want, but it is not often you get that first blood on a safe lane Dragon Knight. Tundra supports striking first and striking early here.
And they managed to get a hard camp pull off of that as well. So that's going to pull that creep equilibrium all the way back to the tower. Tundra putting themselves in just the driver's seat in this safe lane, headed to success. Check out that other safe lane, perhaps Game and Gladiators, see if things are going a bit better there. It's the 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 Wind Ranger up against the Ramses Mars. I mean, Ramses has been killing it with this hero so far.
I got it last, too.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised he got in such a good position, right?
That's the Sand King bait. The flex potential coming through. We're already seeing 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 go to that jungle. He is definitely suffering on that mid lane. Early Satyr creep on this bottom. Going to be a very nice creep. Burn out the mana from the 2 melees. Give you extra mana regen for the Wind Ranger with a very strong early nuke. This is going to be a tough lane for Ramses, but we've seen him get out of a lot of these. In fact, CS-wise, he's doing perfectly fine here.
Yeah. He's killing it. So many denies. 16 and 6. 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 only 13 and 1. So Ramses definitely getting the better of this engagement so far, despite the harassment. The harassment, though, does continue in the mid lane, where 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝙄𝑼 has to burrow strike away from Quinn just to try and stay alive. He is getting ruined right now. Almost a full level up on him is Quinn. But this is the way the matchup's supposed to go, right? And he's just going to have to look for recovery elsewhere.
Nice little Centaur rotation.
Okay.
Maybe deny a water him?
That's exactly what happens.
That is big. These are the little things you want to do to skew this matchup. And I was about to say, yeah, a lot of this lane is Sand King versus Viper. But what this game will come down to in terms of mid lane potential is the support rotations. How much does each team utilize the advantage that Quinn's created here?
Oh, this is so cool. Look at 𝙎𝘆𝘾.
This is so valuable for 𝙎𝑇opson.
Uses the enchant on the Centaur to get some good harassment. They're even going to try to go with the last second. Centaur's not King manages to get the kill on the Viper, all thanks to this beautiful support player. 𝙎𝘆𝘾, who does die, probably microing that Centaur. Bit of focus on there. Does lose some of the focus on the safe lane and gets caught for it.
I mean, that is still Omega worth it here. That is just insane micro play from 𝙎𝘆𝘾, completely turning this mid lane against Quinn. Not a kill that should have happened, and not one Quinn expected at all.
And now if you're gaming Gladiators, you gotta be kind of, oh, we picked a Viper against the Sand King to win the lane matchup.
And look at the CS. Yeah. 3 behind, and he had that kill. And now even if the Sand King rotates around the map or goes jungle, the damage is done, right? You alleviated a lot of that early game pressure. 𝙎𝑇opson, he's just going to linger up top, look for a quick support pick off. The Ghost will add some extra slow. Once more, the creeps, he's done.
He is done.
Dude, 𝙎𝘆𝘾 is owning this early game, no way around it. He's already level 4. This is before the Wisdom Rune comes out. This is an Enchantress dream right now. And Viper is a very susceptible hero to the early roam, especially if you can combine both supports here for Tundra. There's a lot of potential on the map right now. You have a gate rotation available. You have a purge for the Wind Ranger and the Enchantress. Very interested to see what 𝙎𝘆𝘾 can do from here, because I mean, this is every 5 player's dream. A start like this on a very capable roamer, a hero that can affect every lane in the early game. Take your pick right now.
Battle for the Lotus is here. Let's see who clicks it first. It is Ace this time around. A second Lotus is added to his inventory. I think the crazy thing is that the Sand King now doesn't have to really lane at all, right? I mean, he's so proficient at being able to jungle. He could just play to these neutrals. They're going to let 𝙎𝑇opson take the experience on mid. Maybe he dies for it every once in a while, but he's going to get some levels, and his Sand King is free farming. In the meanwhile, has to snowball to dodge some of the damage here, but he will be pulled back into his doom as Gaming Gladiators will punish the support left solo in mid, but the punish on the other side is Tundra going for Ace here. All those Lotuses though, triple bracers, a hard kill to be able to get in. 𝙎𝑇opson has overextended himself, and Quinn puts him in the dirt.
Triple bracer chainmail plus a healing Lotus. That is not an easy target to bring down. They just don't have the early damage, and that was a very important rotation mid for Gaming here. You want to snowball the Viper. Quinn is still dominating the lane. He's still decently ahead. Those rotations just add that snowball effect and give a lot of experience toward this Chen as the Wisdom Rune.
Oh, the spear doesn't come out in time, and it misses, so Tofu manages to nab away the Wisdom Rune, and he might even get the kill on Ramses. Lobs out that blood grenade. A poison trying to latch, doesn't find its mark, and Tofu will be unable to get that kill, and perhaps is going to die here. 𝙎𝑇opson is going to try and keep up with him. Tofu, is he going to go for the Ancient Deny? Dodges the spear, goes back to the Ancient.
Wasting so much time.
Trying to break some ankles. He will get brought down by the God's Rebuke, but as you said, more and more time, more attention from Tundra forced to their side of the map.
And we have seen these 7-minute Wisdom Rune steals just win games. Like this is a huge swing in the experience department, especially for a support duo that was having a pretty good early game between this Enchantress Tusk. Now they're going to fall a bit behind in terms of those early levels. Level 5 for Celery already. The counterpart here in the Chen to the Enchantress. See if Celery can make some of these early rotations work. He likes to go into this top lane, kick the enemy carry out, pressure this tower. If he has the levels and the creeps to do it, he's in a decent position to make that kind of move right now. In fact, secures a power rune for Quinn. This is a deadly power rune at this point in the game.
Oh yeah.
This is a kill into a tower if you give him the opening. This amp damage is just going to rip through an objective.
There is kind of, though, that pressure to do something with that amp damage, right? Because you know the Sand King's just farming away this entire time. You've got to start taking objectives soon. And 𝙎𝘶𝑖O, he's going to be in a bit of trouble here. Got him inside the arena. Ramses gets the pin as well, and they have the damage. Thanks to 𝙎𝘆𝘾, again, showing up at the right place at the right time, hits the enchant to get rid of the win run. Back to middle lane where 𝙎𝑇opson continues to suffer. Obviously, there's not much he can do about a Viper kill. Does manage to get that kill and tries to hit that mid tower, tries to hit the Dragon Knight as well. 𝙎𝑇opson was thinking about trying to TP to help out, but he realizes that is a no-go and has to stick up to this top lane, canceling his TP.
Really nice snag bottom for Tundra, but they're getting pulled across the map right now. Cancel TP on the Sand King. The towers are getting pressured. This mid tower is gone. That amp damage plus a solo kill for Quinn. He strikes back.
Oh, Tofu spotted. Did hit the burrow strike will hit the epicenter. That's going to slow him down a little bit, and the shards will keep him in the AoE. 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 makes sure that 𝙎𝙊𝘾 is able to deal the damage. 𝙎𝘊𝘾, you can see, is playing defensively just for fear of more heroes coming to assault, but not the case.
Stampede used for gaming. And these Stampedes are going to be really influential in the early game, either for the gap close to find your target, help the Viper out in the fight. That one did not save 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼, but he will make the rotation anyway.
Nice shackle shot. Still though, 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 is going to be surrounded by heroes. Where's Ace to be able to help out here? The Whirlwind is doing a decent amount of damage. Can't quite finish him up. The power shot misses. Thompson slips right past that one. 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 is now going to be the target of Gaming Gladiators instead, but they're running through this sandstorm constantly. Still though, 𝙎𝘶𝘃 slowed down by another blood grenade. Oh, gets his drinking buddies all the way to Thompson, pulls himself out of danger.
I mean, 𝙎𝘃 got right there. Gets the kill, gets the bailout. Even the Viper rotates up here, but Quinn is too late to the party. They defend this tier 1 top, and meanwhile, another kill for Ramses on this Mars. He got it last in this draft, and he's already put to work. 3-0 start for him, as 𝙈𝘆𝘆 will help him deal some extra tower damage down here on the bottom lane. Pure cutting mid as well. This mid lane's been annoying for Quinn.
Where does he go? He just keeps on going into the neutrals to try and take some of that away, but
no, he has to kick out Thompson top. It has lingered way too long up here.
Snowball, oh, it's going to pull him straight to Quinn. This is a dangerous position. That's why Thompson's going to try and get out with the bro strike. And the 𝙎𝘃 Tuss follows him right away with the drinking buddies again. This duo is just too mobile for Gaming Gladiators to get the hold on them.
Gue yakin Whitemon balik ke Indonesia pasti
It's another TP for this Viper. They do get Thompson out of this top lane, but the catapult dies. This tower push is going to be a bit slow.
Sama menteri siapa tuh yang sama
You're looking at these net worths and Tundra. Very happy with what has happened here. They got out of the laning phase first.
Kalau menang DI gue yakin dipolitikin aja.
First lanes that were potentially difficult and basically won. Well, all three for their cores at this point. Thompson is not behind at all.
Gue yakin anjing
𝙎𝘃, he's going to be running into the ward, so there's no way out. No heroes to pull him out with the drinking buddies this time around. He goes to the creep wave, surrounded by 3. So he should finally pay the price. He's just going to do what damage he can, stall as much as humanly possible. But it does seem like this top lane is finally going to be forfeited by Tundra. They lose that hero, and they're going to lose the tower as well.
Here, taking advantage of this moment to clear through some of those ancient stacks. He is getting very far, and we've seen some crazy GPMs on this Dragon Knight. He's going to have another pretty free game here. Thompson catching up mid and the tower being pressured by the Dark Soul Summoner. So 𝙈𝘆𝘆𝘆 continuing to exert pressure on the map. They're fighting for the 12-minute power rune. It's a dangerous rune.
Got him inside the arena with the epicenter. He went for the save. He tries to stop Tofu's disruption. Looks like they'll have him surrounded and killed. But what about Quinn? He picked up an Invis rune, comes out of that one to try and put some damage on Ramses. He regrets that decision though. Trying to use the Stampede to get him out of here, but the chain stuns. Make sure that he's not going anywhere. Wait, the Centaur stun. It comes through. Stalls him out still. Snowball gets him to Quinn. Can't finish him though. No more damage left in the tank as Gaming Gladiators pull all their heroes to help out their mid lane.
3 points in corrosive skin plus all the Chen heal. Enough to keep Quinn alive as he mans up for the rune and is rewarded. Gaming, this is a team that's going to bring everybody to these sorts of skirmishes. Tundra, I think they felt like they had the numbers advantage, but you never have the numbers advantage against this team in the first 20 minutes. And this is not a fight that Pure was close to coming to, so you're just outnumbered 5v4 in the end. And that's the power of Stampede in this early game. It's going to be able to recreate the gap for the Viper or get him onto the target you need.
Quinn trying to do the Ancients, runs out of resources to do this stack that is there. 7-9, Tundra. Very slight net worth lead, pretty much even game right now as the 14-minute Wisdom Runes are going to be coming up soon. Right now, it seems like a battle of just the Sand King and Mars who've been doing pretty well for Tundra in the moves that they've been making. But as you said, the moves that they're making, they're running into 5 of Gaming Gladiators. Is this Gaming Gladiators' typical strategy of just moving multiple heroes around the map in congruence? It is causing Tundra to bleed a bit.
The thing is, I think Tundra should be fine just playing the map in a way, right? They have the Sand King and the Dragon Knight, the 2 heroes that are going to farm the most during these downtimes. Like, Centaur is not going to match that. He wants to make moves with this Blink that was just finished for Ace. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄 was a bit behind in this game. No real huge stacks for him to catch up on. So Gaming are the ones who are kind of pressured to find the pickoffs here. They're going to try and land this smoke on Ramses, but he did sniff it out, but not fast enough.
Yeah, they smoked underneath the ward, but Ramses still gets caught in the corner of the map. As smart play by Gaming Gladiators. They used the blink and the stampede to get instant damage on Ramses. Make sure he wasn't able to use quick fingers to get out of that.
The thing is, this is a smoke that it's not yielding you a lot of map control right now. And if you look at where Tundra are on the map, 𝙎𝘆𝘾𝙄𝘼 continuing to cut this mid wave with this troll. He's getting tier 1 tower pressure. The DK's clearing through both Ancients, and the Sand King's vacuuming up the bottom half of this map right now. You really need to convert these moves into more map control of your game and get deep wards out. Swing to the other side of the map. Right now it's 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 clearing out the junk. Not really what he wants to be doing. Tundra are getting a lot right now. And it's just going to be a fast BKB for the Dragon Knight in Pure. So he might opt to try and fight earlier in this game and deal with the death ball Gaming are proposing. Gearing up for the early Roshans.
Bit by bit, they will take this tower, or somebody will. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 will deny it instead. Getting a little gold for himself and take it away from Tundra.
Gaming still lingering up top. I mean, this is where their vision is. So ideally, they want to keep killing up here.
Oh, Ace is there on the other side. Thought that Viper Strike wasn't going to be enough, and it wasn't. Ace really helps out getting that kill. 700 gold for them off of that pickoff. And perhaps a little damage on this tier 2 is not much of Tundra. He's going to deal with this. Ramses, he's playing deep on the other side of the map, going to be cutting waves and everything. It seems like Tundra are trying to avoid fights right now.
Yep.
Do you feel like they are good to scale late game? Because we have seen this matchup a couple times in this tournament, specifically with Liquid, right? The Wind Ranger versus the Dragon Knight, and we've seen this item build that makes the matchup very different. The Revenant's Brooch, they would pick up like third item. Do you think that changes the matchup of Wind Ranger versus Dragon Knight enough that it goes to favor Gaming Gladiators?
I think it changes it a decent degree. I mean, in theory, Tundra have an okay lineup versus the Wind Ranger, right? You have Tusk and Enchu are both solid supports at dealing with her. You have a Dragon Knight who's, in theory, a good core-on-core matchup. The Mars can do a lot versus Hero as well. If you survive the Whirlwind here, I think you win the fight as Tundra, because a lot of the damage just disappears, and your cores are going to win that long duration. But this Wind Ranger is not really a normal carry, you know, let's be honest. This hero has a spell that just procs everything on every hero. It's been rare that you have that type of mechanic in Dota 2, and the only other one I really can think of long-term is the Medusa talent, which was not really built into the hero early on.
Yeah.
It just does so much damage that I think you could always win late game with Wind Ranger in 5 or 6 slots, as long as you get a good opening into the fight. So Tundra really need to be careful about how they take the initiations and who they go on. Particularly this Viper, right? Like, are you bold enough to jump the Viper first in this game with the amount of backup he has in a Disruption, in a Chen heal, in a Stampede, and then give a good opening to 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝘼 to come into that fight after you commit onto the Viper? That, I think, could be the most dangerous way to take the fight if you are Tundra.
Yeah, that's a good point. It seems like Gaming Gladiators are going to be presenting kind of this wall. You don't want to go on the Viper, you don't want to go on the Centaur. You got to get to the back line. Tundra do have the heroes to jump past those tanky heroes with a Mars, with the Sand King. Both are going to be getting Blink Dagger, and even the Dragon Knight, I assume, at some point is probably going to be rocking a bit of mobility. So just a question of whether or not they can get around these big tanky frontliners and into the back line, catch that Shadow Demon like they did in the top river, go for that Chen and stop that heal that comes out.
Gaming, though, they found a decent amount in this period, particularly for Celery. This Chen is starting to gear up. You're going to have some nice aura timing between the Chen and the Centaur, which is what Gaming are looking for here, as he will match the Dark Soul Trumpeter pressure on the map. Tundra making a smoke of their own, looking triangle. Only Tofu here.
See some stacks that are happening. They know where the support is going off of those neutrals, running that direction, and they'll get Tofu in the process. The Arena make sure that there is no escape with the Dragon Form. They can maybe take some of these neutrals as well. Not a huge stack, just a double, but still worth to take away from Gaming Gladiators.
Still a Wisdom Rune sitting here too, but it did not get scouted. Tundra do not know it's there. Interesting smoke play, not really for any specific timing. They just wanted to get Pure involved in the game and felt like maybe there was a large Ancient stack they could steal off that smoke kill.
Sure.
Little economic damage. This is a bigger prize, though. They find Ace deep on their side of the map.
Trying to stampede away. The snowball pursues. He managed to get the blink out. Striking buddies. Sasa gets pulled close, but the punch doesn't come out. He stands there for a second, goes up. That's that one up.
I'm not sure if he got body blocked by the creep. It looked really weird. Nonetheless, that is a lucky escape for Ace. Barely gets out of there, and he's found a lot of farm in this period, looking towards a pipe of his own. These aura timings are really important for Gaimin. They need to be able to get a lot out of them when they arrive. Can't bleed heroes around the map right now, as Tundra are hitting some strong teamfight items between the Bloodstone on the Sand King and the BKB. We'll see. He does get a right click off.
He gets a hit in. He just didn't have the Walrus Punch activated. So then he has to wait for his next hit to come in, and it's all gone wrong for him.
It's a big miss. We usually do not see that kind of misplay from this man, particularly on one of his signature heroes. But maybe just not expecting he was going to get there in the first place.
Still dead even, not much action happening the last 5 minutes when it comes to kills. There's been these movements, but not really finding purchase as Game of Gladiators and Tundra seem to be circling around each other. But it seems like this even game is favoring Tundra by a healthy amount at that.
Yeah, they're just going to farm more of the map during these downtimes. Like, Gaimin need to group up and get an advantage. They're continuing to bleed some supports. Tundra just pushed the lanes in, making the better moves right now. They have an Arcane Rune on top, and that Bloodstone is done, and they're just working towards BKBs. They already have Pyrrhus, who hasn't had to use it yet, and they're going to get a Mars BKB, they're going to get a Sand King BKB second item. They're going to have a nice triple BKB timing by the time I think Gaimin's ready to group up with their Greaves Pipe potential. It's going to be a tough fight for them if they want to force the Roche. And I wonder, Tundra, do you just try and do it before Gaimin are ready to take that 5-on-5?
Knowing that Game of Gladiators, they've done this for years at this point in time, this aura buildup, what is Tundra doing exactly that is combating that timing?
They're not letting them group. They're continually pushing in all the waves. Especially 𝙈𝘆𝘆. He has lived on Gaimin's side of the map. He's cut mid-wave a lot. He's sending creeps to some of these random waves. He's farming out their jungle. It's been really annoying for how Gaimin wants to play the map. This is also one of the downsides of Viper. Like, Viper is strong in that ball, but he's not great when the map gets split up like this.
Yeah, and he's not particularly good at pushing in the waves really quickly, like some of these heroes on the side of Tundra.
He's just clunky. He's a clunky hero, and Tundra are abusing it right now.
Back and forth, you can see that heat map of just 𝙈𝘆𝘆 constantly playing basically on the river, on their side of the map, all over the place, keeping Game of Gladiators, as you said, a bit split. They've got a 4-man crew right now with 𝙈𝘆𝘆 farming a different part of the map. They're gonna, on the other side, Tundra's gonna deal with their Tormentor, pick up the 21-minute Wisdom Rune. Very efficient stuff.
This is super efficient for pure Mask of Madness armlet build. This is quite a throwback, but it's been incredibly good on this hero. He also got the Gropo. That's some nice neutral item pickups in this game. Vampire Fangs for 𝙈𝘆𝘆, I think, is also a good one here. Just free heal in the fight. Off the Whirlwind. His BKB is done, so he's also kind of ready to fight here.
Yeah, I think he's kind of impossible to kill with this combination of items at this timing right now.
And Gaimin are group at bottom. They want the Roshan around this time, but they are missing the Greaves from Celery. He's a bit short, and you're missing this pipe from Ace. It's kind of an awkward time to take that fight in terms of the items. But if you can get a good BKB Wind Ranger in there with a Whirlwind, of course, that fight is potentially winnable.
Potentially. Wow. The Whirlwind is going to have to contend with the arena walls. So Ramsey's initiation.
He wants to find the back line. Ideally, Tundra ignore this Viper, find the supports. That is a great ward.
They drop the ward. Yep, they see the Chen. They see where he's headed to. They probably know where the other support is as well. They're going to wrap around, avoiding this high ground, making sure the smoke doesn't pop until he gets the arena on both the supports. A quick disruption maybe bails out the Chen for now, but Pure gets stunned up for a second. Now he starts going to work with the both of the supports grouped up. Still, though, the heals are keeping him alive for a little bit. They managed to get off most of their auras in time. Will it be enough, though? Tofu, he's going to be knocked one down. Another
Lihat
support,
gak?
though. Chen is going to come back and play with the supportnya. He's pushed through this one with Pure already going down.
Enggak, supportnya, dua-duanya supportnya. Karena di gaming kalau tambah support aneh banget. Kan sampai enggak, tuh lihat, dia masih bisa nge-kill gitu. Karena ada Chen-nya buyback kan.
Chen-nya buyback enggak ya?
Buyback tuh kayak
Agak dong.
to defeat Gaming Gladiators right next to their outpost with buybacks ready to go. But maybe they're going to go for a second part of this fight. Nope. They call it quits. They say that's good enough.
Kayaknya coba diulang,
Crazy centaur stops in that fight.
Yeah,
These
babe,
centaurs are
yeah.
just running around, stopping multiple heroes from both the Chen and the Enchantress. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 ultimately gets to play his game here, though. That's what wins out. That's he took everybody into it. It looked great for the Sand King, but I think it wasted a bit of Pure's time in this fight. We'll see that clutch stun from Ace buys time for the supports to get a lot off here. Celery will be forced to buy back into this fight. And at some point, I think somebody fed Quinn or he had a big Lotus for the second half of this exchange because he gained a huge amount of HP as they were trying to burst him down towards the end of it.
Jadi game ini tuh jangan sampai SD-nya sama Chen-nya tuh main gitu. Dalam artian
big wand plus
gak apa-apa lah 3-3 core-nya mereka masih bisa cancel lah meskipun ada udah BKB
going off in this fight. It's ridiculous. Another one at the end. These things don't work.
Certainly have, and it keeps the game close. Still 6,000 network lead for Tundra. Gaming Gladiators looking to correct that. 3-man smoke up through mid with 2 other heroes close by.
Oh, look at his BKB.
Got that out of him.
Not valuable here. You're still smoked on Ace.
Kalau dia BKB dia mati lah,
This is a huge timing for Game. This is why they smoke. This is why they want the kickoff. Anything would lead into the Roshan here.
Nggak bisa. Tetap dia bakal mati kalau nggak buka BKB.
Have the confidence take that Roshan.
Resikonya dia nggak buka BKB dia mati
switch the side here, and I don't know if you're finishing it by the time you get here on the
radiant.
That's true. You've got 45 seconds. If you're gonna do it, you have to do it right away.
If you get in there with everybody with this level 3 penitence, it's doable right now.
Yeah. I think they're going to be able to do it. 35 seconds, put it to the test here, but it's looking pretty good for them. With every single hero of Gaming Gladiators joining in on this. It doesn't seem like Tundra are too worried about it. They are super split all around the map, farming all different areas. They're going to get all the lanes pushed in. They're going to farm a bunch of neutrals, so they will get a lot of net worth for this exchange. It's up to Gaming Gladiators to use this Aegis to correct the net worth lead that is currently going to Tundra.
I will say damage buffs have been nice in this meta, but I mean, who needs Solar Flare when you have your own personal summon Solar Flare?
That's true.
With 80 skeletons in the fight.
The Skelly boys giving Gaming Gladiators just that extra bit of oomph, and they're going to need it.
TopUp includes them all and gets an extra 100 gold.
That's true.
See what Gaming can do during this Aegis period. They have their Greaves, they have their Pipe, they have an Aegis on the Viper, who's their front line, who's showing top right now.
Oh, they're gonna
nice.
Back in time to save Tofu at least, as Tofu's still inside the arena. Wait a minute, disruption with Soxif stuck on the other side of the shore. He's actually making a break for it with the Stampede. He TP's out.
Okay.
All right.
I think Sox is going to hold that punch for next time, right?
Yeah.
It's like a win-run BKB Wind Ranger is the problem. It's a hard go, but they're still happy with what they got there. They got the BKB on the Wind Ranger. That's something that'll allow you to push here. You just can't convert on those kills. Meanwhile, Thompson trying to make a solo play.
Yeah, very interesting, knowing that since the BKB's on cooldown, maybe he could get a solo kill. But either way, it's Tundra being aggressive into an Aegis, which is quite the call. Thompson, he's going to go for a BKB Bloodstone, see if he can stay alive against all 5, but there is way too much. Thompson, you have overestimated yourself, and now maybe you pull Pure into a position he doesn't quite want to be. The rest of his team is cutting in from behind. Ramsey's made the call though to cut the wave. See if that will stop this tier 2 from going down. And he just might. No, and they kept the catapult alive, so the push will endure.
They Greaves did keep it alive here. Still have this Aegis on the Viper. That means you want to go, you want to force the action. They're going to go high ground. They have a huge amount of rally boost from these summoners right now. Really helps the damage output.
No, the Solar Crest. Wait, the Alpha Wolf, he got the Siege Wagon. The wave has been cut. A Glyph is going to be reactivated here. That stops Gaming Gladiators' push. They can no longer barrel down mid. Even with this kind of net worth lead, Tundra still have to pull out all the stops to stop the Gaming Gladiators snowball that is time and time again kick teams out of tournaments.
Gaming found a lot of net worth during this period, particularly for Quinn. Like this Viper is starting to scale. He got Chin and Quiver as well. He's going to be a beast in the fight. We saw how much 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 was doing on his own. He's not really doing a lot of damage into this lineup with the pipe plus the extra magic resist right now.
Mereka jarang ngutang
That's why
ya.
Game, and they want to strike. They want to strike hard when they know their ball is stronger.
Bukannya goldnya lebih banyak
just
di
keep on
sekarang,
growing,
bukan di
and
hutan.
they are going to hit a different part of the town here.
Iya,
The top
maksudnya
lane
lebih
instead.
banyak dapat
This
goldnya
time
di
the wave is
bukan
not
di
getting
hutan.
cut. So there's another one coming in.
Sama
Tundra
aja
going to
tuh.
have to go for a high ground defense. 2 minutes left
Sama-sama
on the
dihabisin,
Aegis.
tuh.
Even as a small 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, which I actually kind of like, because you just send this thing in the fight and it dies to a bunch of the AoE damage.
mereka bersih,
You get a
cuy, itulah
huge
tuh.
damage boost off the
Mainin
death throw.
anakannya
It's not a
fokus.
common ability, but I can see it being really good here for the Viper.
Yeah, 120 attack speed
No
for
joke.
5 seconds. That is no joke at all.
Viper juga agak sulit.
Give a moon shard to everybody.
Do Tundra want to jump Quinn?
Iya, terakhirnya ngepick
Minute
ini
30
ngepick
on this
Viper.
Aegis. You feel like
Atatusnya
locking the
Agansi.
shards and man fighting them with the DK, but it doesn't sound fun.
No.
They're just trying to stall this out. Put 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 on the front line. Gavin will jump him.
Thompson. No big. Oh, snowball save. That can let him get off the BKB Bloodstone, but they are going to be deep into Gaming Gladiator side. Managed to get the blink away before the Stampede can connect there. And they'll get him back to safety. Gaming Gladiators not being able to get that pick off. Now 60 seconds left on the Aegis.
Getting stalled out here.
Yep, time
udah
is
kelihatan ya,
ticking.
gua mau ke
Gaming
bawah tuh.
Gladiators window is beginning to close.
Sampai mereka TP.
Maybe they're happy with what they got during this
Emang lu
period,
kira
but they did
public,
not
anjing,
break that
karena
base. That's a
bersenjata.
big win for Tundra.
Kan sampai dia
Now
TP,
they're pushing
Cok.
towards some bigger items.
Dia
That
pasti
Hex
fokus
for
di atas
Ramses is
lagi.
on the horizon.
Kan dia ada Aegis.
They get caught a little bit. They find the Shadow Demon on
Wah,
They managed to get him,
dapat
and they
nih,
got
Cok.
him inside the arena. The spear, though, he runs to the Centaur, so a self-disruption. Blood Tofu. Wait, Quinn, he's taking a lot of damage. He's going to lose that Aegis. He had the Aegis still the second life, while 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝘄𝑼 starts going to work with the Whirlwind. Managed to get a Burrow Strike back. Thompson's going to be okay for now, but Pure, he's leaning in. He's going to go for Celery, takes him out. BKB TP up from Quinn, but what about 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝑼? 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝑼 doesn't have that same luxury. He doesn't have a BKB.
Kelar sih, kelar. Udah kelar.
From Tundra.
Pure man's up, and he is rewarded. Just stands his ground in
kayak
the
kena
middle of
counter kayak gini
everything.
aja ya.
Gavin did not have the
Iya lah
damage.
anjing, emang ML
𝙎𝙀𝘾𝑼,
ngentot.
he wanted to pick his mark in that fight, comes in with the BKB win on Whirlwind, but it is not enough damage to finish anybody off. And the front line from Tundra holds 𝙎𝙬𝘾. He finds Shadow Demon right at the start, sets up this 3-man arena, and everybody's just locked in the cage. Ace gets melted even through the auras and the sustain. Just a brutal amount of damage. This Whirlwind, it can win you the fight here, but it gets disjointed, and now all of a sudden all you're left is this BKB Dragon Knight on the front line, and it's not a hero 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝘄𝑼 can man fight at that point. This is through the Viper Aegis as well. That, in theory, was a good fight for Demon in terms of that timing. Did not do him any favors here.
Thompson made the call. He made the blink initiation, catching Gaming Gladiators a bit off kilter. And as a result, the team fight is messy, it's bloody, and it's bad for Gaming. Now a 12,000 net worth lead for Tundra.
I will say, Quinn, he barely got out of there as well. That punch from 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝘄𝑼 was mid-land. That was almost a full team wipe. They'll lick their wounds and claim a Tormentor here. But this game is starting to get messy for Gaming. This is not how these types of lineups are supposed to function, right? You
Makanya nggak ada, time
want to
Roshannya masih lama.
You want to be looking at the next Roshan with a net worth lead. Instead, you find yourself down a 10k hole versus a very strong Dragon Knight who's about to finish MKB at your shop.
𝙎𝙬𝘾𝘄𝑼 wasting no
Ya,
time to make
ketolongan,
the
Aja.
initiation because Ramses is behind him and he's got a complete inside the vice and a spear to follow it up. Disable after disable. Gaming Gladiators now have to use the Stampede to try and retrieve it. Sure, nobody else dies, but Tofu, he'll bite the dust as well.
Tundra finding momentum in this game, finding everything right now. Every jump feels good, especially with this MKB done on Pure. You find 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝑼, he's gonna melt. Swing Run cannot save you anymore, and all of a sudden, Gaming are the ones being pushed back. Did they miss their timing in this game? They have all the auras, but they're not
Sekarang,
winning you the team fight right
SD.
now.
Nggak
It's done
dibolehin
for
main.
Ramses as well.
Bisa
I mean,
apa
the
anjing?
catch is there, the control is there,
Kalau
the
Messi
BKBs are
kelar.
there. Even Whitemon has
Iya
built up an
makanya,
entire
maksudnya
pipe to
kenapa
back
si
these
Tundranya
tanky
itu memang
frontliners
dia
up.
tadi ke si
This is
Tofu
a
ya
lot
memang
of
itu.
HP to get through all of a sudden.
Kalau SD-nya udah jadi dengan
Straight
dan dia
heals on
tetap
the front line, all with
sulit.
3,000 plus
Dia nggak bisa
HP with a pipe behind them.
Nah,
Effectively, it's
karena
so much
apa?
EHP
Tundra
to
itu
get
mainnya
through.
snowball ke depan,
Yeah, normally
sedangkan
it's
untuk
something that we would
game
say
ini
about Gaming
mereka main masih
Gladiators lineup.
maksudnya
Oh,
main
look at all these
bertahan
auras, look
juga,
at the pipe, look
bukan
at the greaves.
snowball.
It's too much for any team to be able to bite through, but Tundra hitting this later timing, 32 minutes, triple BKBs, triple strength heroes. Now it's Game and Gladiators, the ones who are running out of damage and struggling to deal with Tundra. As a result, they lose a lane of barracks. A second one gets damaged a bit, but Tundra not trying to take a team fight on Game and Gladiators. High ground, forward retreat, and await.
Percuma kalau ada
which
Lotus
is coming up very soon.
Dia bakal bisa ke-cancel sama Tustar. Dia bakal dimainin sama Tustar. Tustar di skill 2 di ini
defensive too. Lincoln's for the
depan
Viper,
kan?
Satanic for the Wind Ranger, Crimson for Ace.
Nggak
Not
bisa,
a lot
nggak
of
bisa.
damage increase. You just finished this. Shiva's on the Sand King, the pipe for the Ench. This DK is going to get something built out of this Reaver. I worry about how you bring these heroes down right now. And it feels like a lot of the initiations have just been Ramses finding his mark.
Yep.
4-1-9 on this Mars. He's played a near perfect game.
And he's had a fantastic tournament on this hero. The switch up the Tundra did, right? Presenting the Sand King, as you said in the draft, and then swerving, so it's a mid Sand King. They get a different offlaner. It has worked out beautifully. They managed to salvage out that mid lane, thanks to Python's moves early, and now Ramses is delivering on the offlane Mars.
Apa buat Glimmer gitu anjing.
These arenas, if you catch the supports +1, you're very happy with that, and you're probably winning the fight. And he has found a lot of these times. Do finish up the Daedalus on 𝙎𝘼𝘄𝘼, different from last fight, so that's going to be his big damage item in this game. This Whirlwind really has to do some work. You got to find at least 1 or 2 big targets during this interval. And, I mean, if Tundra really want to play this game safe, they could play for buybacks, but I mean, it's Tundra, so they're going to buy out here. Satanic for pure 4k HP on this DK right now.
Yeah, who needs a second life when Satanic really is its own second life, right? I mean, it's not like he's going to get bursted down before he can activate it. He's got way too much effective HP.
And a snowball save behind him.
Yeah.
It really comes down to it. So Tundra very confident right now. They have a wave in Gaiman's base. They don't see anybody on it, so they know Gaiman are around this pit. There's a creep in the pit as well. They're not going to show on it.
Once again, Tundra are trying to set the tempo. They're the ones trying to start the fight with this smoke. They found a couple of heroes, not who they want. They don't want the Centaur, they don't want the Viper, they want the backline, but this time Ramses finds himself jumped on. Oh, stop! It stops the snowball save from Saksa and kills Ramses. He's gonna fly back and try to come back in. Thompson! Oh, Thompson! Thompson! Another from hell!
Ketik GG ngasih cok. Udah kalah cok, udah kalah. Lihat deh, lihat DK-nya ini satu lawan berapa tadi red flag.
What was probably the best stun Ace could
Oke,
ever
anjing.
find in this game.
DK-nya
Finding the save, finding the tusk, and absolutely none of it made a damn difference. As Thompson says, just leave them to me, boys, and I will clean it up. Pure with the cleaves coming through, he is invincible. The
Viper late game ada damage.
run out for Gaiman.
Buat tanya.
Did not come to fruition, and
Lihat tuh, lihat.
he's in cleanup mode.
Ramses perhaps trying a little bit too hard there, goes for something that they don't want to jump on. It's the Viper. They got plenty of buybacks out of Game and Gladiators. That's good enough. And now they can back up to do the original objective of Roshan.
I mean, who even takes this Aegis? You're getting slaughtered at this point. Your heroes feel invincible. Give it to Ramses.
Tapi kan
For
ada
the
ini
buyback.
cok, ada apa itu?
Gaiman
Ada
falling
Satanic.
short in his game
Nah kan
one,
mati DK tuh
especially in
aja
these
kalau dari
team
BKB
fights. They
udah.
just don't have a nudge
Lu mau
to
ngebut
sustain the
gimana
back
orang
for
ada
Tundra.
Here comes that
Armor.
epicenter. Thompson, he pumped it a couple times. Get the perfect timing.
Begitu ya, yang kelas war aja satu lawan berapa tuh DK-nya
Good
tadi?
to see you
anjing?
later.
BKB-nya udah semua udah kepake baru Thompson
What a
masuk.
jump from Thompson, and Pure is able to deliver the damage off of any kind of stuns. Either Ramses or Thompson. Pure says, no, there's no chance. You got nothing, Game and Gladiators, and it really does look that way. With a 23,000 net worth lead and a lineup that was designed to take the base early, it does feel like Game and Gladiators may not have much more in the tank, much more left for them to be able to play for, but they are a world-class team, and they have been in these situations before. So Tundra do need to be careful when they encroach upon Game and Gladiators territory.
And they did give this Aegis to Pure. So at least there's some idea this Dragon Knight is in theory mortal. He wants the second life to siege the base.
I mean, if you're Game and Gladiators, Is it possible for you to leave the Dragon Knight for last, or does he just do too much damage? That may not be a question that they are ever able to get to themselves with 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 gone in a second.
Does have buy. It's the one hero that had buyback for 𝙈𝘖𝘖 right
They're all
now.
setting up with this high ground war. They're going to say this is the only opportunity we have. We've got an
namanya
damage onto
turnamen
the
ya,
Viper.
turnamen udah head
Maybe,
segini
just
gini
maybe
mereka,
we can pull out a
maksud gue lu pernah
miracle.
ikut turnamen juga
Behind them.
online
Thompson
kan,
hits the burrow strike.
menit
It disrupts
segini,
insane. That's gonna help
belum
them get the
itemnya belum
buyback. TPM
mumpuni,
coming in.
pasti kan juga
Quinn activates his BKB.
ini
Throws some damage.
ngerasa,
And then
gue butuh farming, tapi kan lu nggak tahu ada udah
supports
masih
of
ada
Tundra.
smoke apa
They're
nggak dari
filling out
tim
these
musuh.
heroes and 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼
Kelar cuy, udah.
The Death Reaper comes in with a sharp scythe and a wicked intent. Thompson, he'll join them along in death, but he's done what he needed to do. He has killed Gaming Gladiators, killed their chance in this game one, taken out their buybacks, taken out their diebacks, and they are out of this game one. No contest.
The crowd favorite puts on a show in this first game from a very rough lane, getting bailed out from that Whitemon Enchantress to just dominating these team fights. This is not a hero you wanted to give this team, and not a hero.
Gila, Cok. Predik gue benar semua, guys. Gak salah sih ya.
Gue udah bilang Tundra, Cok. Ini Tundra Liquid, Jing. Gak akan mungkin GG Gaming.
And they never even took a tier 3 in this game. No, very uncomfortable situation for Gaming, as it felt like
Lu lihat dah Topson udah kayak TI
this is the type of lineup we want.
kayak TI 8 TI 9 mainnya kayak gimana dia mau ibaratnya gini, tim lain mau nge-ban hero-nya Topson, tapi kan Topson full hero-nya banyak nih, nggak bisa diprediksi kayak TI 9 gitu.
A third time TI in the view for Thompson. But they have to be able to take down Gaming Gladiators in a full best of 3, and that is always a difficult task to take. So, to pose that task, we talk to the panel. What are they going to do next?
Look, we've got a lot of theories circulating. We do love to talk about Dota, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Tundra getting this game 1 win for themselves. In their interview yesterday, they said their game plan coming in, let's slow it down. Let's try and stall this game out a little bit longer. Well, task successful right there, Fear. It was the lineup of what they needed, and there's just so many moving parts that worked here for themselves. The biggest one is moving the Sand King to mid and getting a last pick of Mars for themselves.
Yeah, and going back to the draft there, you have to start thinking one of the 4 heroes I felt like you couldn't give Tundra was the Sand King, and they're showing exactly why you shouldn't be giving this hero Sand King. This clip was actually one of the best of the game here. You see how Viper is dominating, but Whitemon, he micros his creep, drags the creep wave around, allows him to get that pivotal kill onto Quinn's Viper there, really slowing down the momentum. Sure, Whitemon died right after because he was microing his creep, but that just kind of happens. It did allow Thompson into this game, and we saw how many like 3 to 4 man burrow strikes he kept hitting throughout this entire game. Can you give the Sand King away? I don't know. What are you going to leave in the pool? Are you going to leave the Naga? Are you going to leave the Invoker? Tundra's in a spot where now where their hero pool seems very difficult to solve. We said it before, and even Gaming doesn't have the solution here. Even this Enchantress is creeping up to becoming a big problem when you're playing against Tundra.
I feel like 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 was the MVP of that game. Genuinely, I know everybody's talking about Whitemon. He played extremely well. I mean, I think Tundra just all around played amazing. 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼, speaking of delaying the game, the wave cut where he snowballs in and then kills the character and then cuts the next wave, like that was Gamon's timing. And that's, I mean, Gamon has to protect their waves, I guess, but just don't expect such a ballsy
tuh, lihat tuh, Deka 1 lawan berapa anjing?
Udah, Deka nggak peduli sama si Viper, udah biarin.
How many times did we see some drinking buddies save in this
Pas
game?
DKB-nya udah beres,
all of game and
semua udah beres,
walk
Thompson
away
masuk
because
kan?
of the drinking buddies. This is the best stand-in
Itu
performance that
kayak
has
ibaratnya
ever
lu
happened.
mau 1 lawan 5.
Like, that was such an insane
DK
game.
udah jadi kayak gitu kan males.
And his Tusk pick up for himself as well. It wasn't that opening pick. It wasn't even the second pick. It was the 3rd hero they were able to get their hands on. So Gaming Gladiators not having that high priority, weren't looking to ban it out. They thought that what they had in their support combo of the Chen and the Shadow were going to be more than enough of this drinking buddies and the clutch snowball saves coming out.
Gue yakin ini seri nih, Cok. Kayaknya ya.
Yeah, they definitely have to rethink the support here. heroes. I feel like the opening was kind of probably maybe passable, you know, they traded Wind Ranger for the Sand King, but after that, because they chose to go for SD, which kind of is not a very good hero to deal with Enchanters when Enchanters those picks. Like, not only did he win help mid lane with the Centaur rotations, and he also kind of bullied the Shadow Demon in the early game. You don't really have anything in your arsenal as a Shadow Demon when you run into an Enchantress with a creep in the lane. You just can't, you know, and Tofu kind of paid a huge price for that. He got bullied in the lane so much that he was really poor in that game. And on top of that, he also manages to go through the gate and gank Wind Ranger because you can dispel the Wind with the enchant, and 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼 got killed because of that. So they definitely have to rethink this Enchantress hero when they are opening with a Wind Ranger.
Yeah, it's just the two support pairings, like Sucks, I can't even say it right now. Thank you. On the task here, as well as the Enchantress being got Topson back into the game, the tasks being stalled the game out. They're just able to do so much. I really do want to talk about White so much more because this is his third game in a row. Tundra's third game with the Enchantress in a row, and it's always doing so much. It's able to be one of those heroes, what do you like to talk about, where it doesn't take a lot out of the budget that you have in a hero draft to be able to be so impactful. I mean, it's just level 2 and you can already see the impact.
Yeah, and he's very stable in the lane. I think laning is something that, sure, it's not everything, but you definitely have to really consider it when you're picking support heroes. You want to make sure that the early game is stable enough for your cores to come online. And yeah, I mean, Shadow Demon plus Chen, those two heroes might be a little bit more expensive. They could work in previous games when I feel like their moves on GG, they were connecting on their moves, especially for 𝙈𝘀𝘿𝘄𝘼, he connects on the gate gank. In this game, because he's not connecting on the gate ganks and he's dying to the rotation, then it kind of seems like the SD and Chen, they're out of place because both of them need to farm a lot, and if your team is not really making any moves, it becomes really difficult for those supports to do their thing in the game.
Yeah, I remember a quote from 𝙈𝘀𝘆. And then Avery actually said a very similar thing to me, where he said, if you want to learn position 5, the best hero to learn is Enchantress, because you can really fall off 15 minutes and onward into the game, but if you can optimize the first 15 minutes, she's absolutely the strongest hero in Dota, and you can completely snowball the game. And I feel like people have gotten so incredibly good at playing the early game, where they're sending like a creep through the portal and then ganking with only the creep, or sending a creep mid and then still having the Ench on a lane to deal with that lane as well. And there's Nyx assassin counters coming out, but then they're just going through the portal and dodging the Nyx lane and then tri-laning. Like, the 5-head plays that are coming out of Enchantress are... I didn't think that the hero could become more elaborate in the first 15 minutes, because this has been a meta hero for so long, and it's been this way for so long, and yet it has gotten more complicated.
Yeah. And then when you get someone like 𝙈𝘆𝘆𝘆 able to showcase just exactly what it can do, well, it ends up in a game number 1 win, and we're going to have a little bit of a listen into that very final fight for Team Tundra.
We have Vegas, son.
They're going? I can fight you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Viper.
They're dying.
Guys, keep buyback. We can take this side. Look at me.
Guys, need to kill the
Kite backwards. I'm fine.
Guys, I'm gonna hex and Ranger after. Guys, in Ranger. Guys, Shadow Demon, look at me. No mana on me. Finish Viper, no buy. Everyone now back. Canceling him. GG. Nice one.
GG.
GG, that was the exact moment it was called. We got to catch it on camera right there, and voice comms as well. Ramsey's being a big vocal point in the team there, exactly which target to go on, what's being there. It's a mix between him and Pure, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a shot caller on the team, where even as a carry, he liked to make a lot of calls. So him moving to that offlane position, especially as an initiator, suits him very well. And even the voice comments kind of proves it as well when he's making the calls for the team. Look at me, this is where I'm initiating. Very clear communication.
Yeah.
I mean, more of an argument to ban them art, because I feel like this is the best hero at articulating a team fight in a way that you want, especially with the facet that makes it so you can't see people inside the arena. You can decide who sees who. You can go on both the supports, you can go on one of the supports, you can go on the carry and then isolate so the save support can't deal with that. So I think the last pick Mars coming out and thinking that probably Ramses was going to be the one playing the SK threw a wrench in Gaiman's plans, but they really need to address the elephant in the room, which is definitely the Mars. We keep saying it. I just want to see what happens when a team is not playing against Ramses on Mars.
Well, look, we'll give you guys a reprieve of us harping on about this Mars, and we're going to head on down to the crowd with Tsunami and hear more of what's going on down there.
You see, the thing about a hero like Mars is, when I ever think about him, I think about his muscles. He's very strong. And every good carnival, I feel like, needs a strongman competition. So I have gathered some people to help me show their might. My friend, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Chris. I love Dota.
Okay then, I'm glad you're at the International. And my friend, could we get a flex for me? Could you show me what we're working with? Yeah! All right! Now, my friend, I've got a task for you. I've got a bucket full of beanies, and I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to just chuck as many of them out there as you can, and we're gonna see if you're the strongest man in the venue. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Perfect. All right. Could we get 30 seconds on the clock, please, as I see you're already getting ready your strategy. You ready? You set? Are we set? Let's set. Let's go! Oh, he's chucking! I like the strategy! Indiscriminately. A lot of them are catching the railing, though.
Wah, gila, cedok. Apa
He's
nih, coba
going, he's
dia?
going. People are demanding behind you. Do a full 360. Give me the skill shots. 3, 2, 1. All right. Well done, my friend. Well done. Unfortunately, this one goes to the strongman himself, but I see everyone scattering for the rest. Enjoy yourself a pudge hook, because you did so much throwing up, things should come to you. How do you feel you did?
Oh, I'm exhausted.
You did well, my friend. You did well. Can I get a handshake? Thank you very much. But that's just one of our contestants. I feel like we can maybe raise the bar a little bit. Let me make my way over to our second contestant. My friend, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Eric.
Eric, which team are you rooting for at this event?
At this event, I think Tundra. I love Thompson. Everybody loves Thompson, so let's go Thompson!
Sounds like you got some people on your side, but maybe you can win them over even more. Could you throw out a few of these for me? What's your strategy going to be?
I don't know. I have seen him. I think I'm going to copy that because it worked very well.
All right then. Good artists create, the great artists steal. Are you ready, my friend?
Yes, I am.
All right then. Could we get 30 seconds on the board for my friend? Let's go. And 3, 2, 1, throw! Go, go, go! Even the people in the back, he's giving it to everyone! Okay, you were way too efficient at that. I gave you a slightly smaller bucket, though. No, you also get the same prizes. Enjoy, enjoy.
Okay, thank you very much.
You feel like you did well?
I think so. I'm sorry that not everybody could get something, but I mean...
I think I may need to balance patch this. I think this was a little bit smaller than the other one, but I admire the effort. Thank you very much for participating. I hope you enjoyed. But I got to get one more, because all good things come in threes. Let's go and head on over to our final little bucket. And let me see if I can find a good candidate for... perhaps the strongest man of them all. Lyrical! What a pleasure to have you join me. Now, have you seen the rules of the game?
I've seen them. I'm ready.
Okay, then. Let me prep this for you. Let me make sure you're good to go. And really savor it, all right? You know, it's about the style, it's about the panache. And I see you're in the zone right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Always ready.
Could we get 30 seconds on the board for our strong man, please? 3, 2, 1, go! Whoa, whoa! He's just, oh my god! That was in the face! And just handing out the last one very casually. Lyrical. I see one more still. Up. Lyrical deserves this one. But you can give this last one. I want you to really savor this one. I want you to send this all the way over there if you can. Woo! That's all that disc golf practice, right?
Ready for it. Forehand's always good.
Well, that's it for us. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed another adventure here in the Royal Arena.
Oh, it's so amazing to see the rest of the talent there all mingling down in the arena. I'm sure there's many of them walking around. And let me tell you, if we were to do an Olympics with the Dota talent, Lyrical would just gold medals across the board.
No. That was not Lyrical. That was Big L.
Big L.
That was
Sorry, Big L. He was causing devastation amongst the crowd, would you say, Jenkins?
Absolute devastation of the highest degree, I would say.
Alrighty, well, I love to see it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their freebies. If you unfortunately aren't down here in a Royal Arena, then there's not going to be any freebies for you guys to get, but everyone else enjoying them. Game number 1, though, that wasn't a freebie for Tundra. They had to work hard for that one. Gaming Gladiators, they're going to have to work even harder if they want to come back in game number 2. We are yet to even see a game number 3 on this main stage. All best of 3s have been those clean sweeps. You didn't really talk about too much live on air, but you did allude to the fact that when you're already 1 game down, you get back out there in front of the crowd, back in the booth, it is really hard to be there emotionally, to be that stable pinpoint for the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough when you go down 1 game and it's an elimination match and you're in front of a crowd as well. That lingering thought that, is this it? You know, is this going to be my last game? It can get to the best of a lot of players, and it's very difficult to shake that. So you need a very strong captain to be like, hey guys, it doesn't really matter. Let's go into this next one. You have to find that motivation, that energy that you just lost from that game to be able to bring that into the game.
Yeah, and I think Tundra on the flip side is really feeling the momentum after the last couple of series. Not only are they winning, they are winning with style, man. Like that great micro mid from Whitemon. He leveled up. I already thought this guy was one of the best supports on the planet. I always joke he's the highest MMR not main character player in the world, where he just gives his team so much. Right? He's such a sacrificial guy. And I didn't know he could take that to another level, but he did it here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a phenomenal journey for Whitemon. Would you'd be familiar with him starting all the way back in his SEA roots. He spent that 1 year over in NA for himself last year, and then onto a Western Europe team, and now he's in the top 3. He's making a podium finish for himself no matter what happens in the rest of this series, but we do have our players walking back at here. Tundra having that confidence, Gaming Gladiators is still going to have to try and find it for themselves here.
Yeah, he's definitely come a long way, you know. He's always been a very bright young talent. A couple of years ago, he's really, really good in the laning phase. He plays many different heroes. He's very hardworking, and he's just a very, very good teammate to have. Back to the point about like players he's carrying as a support player, I think in this type of situation, you kind of can't really always rely on the same person to carry the game, and it's good that Tundra has been like switching around. Sometimes the supports are having a good game, sometimes Ramses is having a good game, sometimes Topson is having a good game, and sometimes Pio is carrying the game. I feel like they have like a really good thing going on there, you know, they're taking turns. If Topson doesn't really get his heroes are getting targeted, and someone else steps up to the plate.
It makes it really hard to play against them, honestly, and the drafting has changed for Tundra as well, where the Topson picks that you would expect, the crazy ones that usually come out in the last phase, he's just playing normal stuff in half of these games.
Yeah.
And it seems like the other teams are having the same reaction that we do, which is, oh, he's just Sand King. Oh, he's just Viper. Okay, well, and it throws a wrench in the entire draft.
That's what's given Tundra a lot of leeway, I feel, even in the upper bracket, despite maybe not always converting it to a win for themselves, but definitely prevalent in the lower bracket, is their last pick feels so gotcha. Even if it's a meta pick, it's still a gotcha on where we're putting it, how we're going to play it, how we're going to match this up into your draft.
I mean, all the way from the last pick to the first pick, I think, is right now where Tundra is excelling. I'm starting to think that maybe you change your style up against this team, and you let some of the heroes in that are been permabanned, like the Naga. I feel like make them play this hero. They haven't played it yet, and they're so good with the heroes they're playing right now. what do you want to ban against this team? You let the Sand King through, that seemed to be a big problem. You tried to answer it. Quinn doesn't really want to play Viper. He plays it to crush his lane, but it sort of happened. But then he dies once, and then you're Viper, right? Now you're playing versus Sand King, so what are you going to play against? Are you going to play against the Lone Druid? I'd say definitely not. Are you going to play against their Sand King?
No.
Question mark. Okay, are you playing versus Sniper?
I think you mentioned giving up Invoker. You rather play against Invoker out of all the heroes.
All right, so like that's the last one. So we're in agreement with that. Then, but Sniper needs to go, Sand King needs to go, and so does the Lone Druid. That maybe gives you one ban depending on what side you are. Does it Invoker? Is it Enchantress? Is it Tusk? There's a lot of heroes there that they can pick that they're really good with. So it's very difficult right now to draft against this team because midway through the tournament, they have found their identity. And I feel like that's exactly when you want to find your identity too, because now it's hard to solve you. You don't have much time.
Yeah, but if you're first pick, it kind of simplifies things a lot.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, in this game, they have the priority to choose, you know. I mean, we can't see what they picked, but I feel like being on the first pick after what happened in the first game is definitely going to make a lot of the decisions that you talked about a lot easier.
And I will say as well, Gaiman, they've been second pick 3 games in a row now. They've lost all 3. So maybe this first pick is something that needs to be addressed, because so far it seems like if you get one of these top 2 heroes this late in the tournament, it is difficult to find an answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think then they can leave in the Lone Druid, and also then they don't have to worry about the Mars, because they can first pick the Lone Druid. If the Mars comes out, they counter it. Maybe also leave in the Naga in the bans. That might allow them to
saya mending itu yo timbang anjing mau 6 lho. Alan pusing. Aslinya ki wingi 8, stuck nang 8.
First pick is just like really nice because
kalau aku ngomong mbek Indro Ndro jusek Ndro. Pokoke stuck 5 malah
you can ban one hero after seeing your
tarik sih. Kowe harus follow meneh. Sebelane bertahan di itu. Masalahnya kan golte rete iki.
You're gonna leave in the pool and what you're gonna trade for if you want to trade, or if the enemy leaves 2 OP heroes, you ban one and you pick one and they get nothing.
Alrighty, well guys, we don't have to speculate too much longer. In fact, I just want to get straight on into it as we do have our draft for game number 2.
Aku yo pito.
Gaming Gladiators.
Yo ngono kuwi nak golte munggah yo ahane yo iki to.
There's a lot of back and forth there on my panel about what you want to let through. It does ultimately come down to if you're going to get 3 bans in the first phase or 4.
Ya menawa payu cari Indro ngono. Wis to karepmu.
Gaming Gladiators turn to ban
themselves.
They get Lone Druid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you either ban it here or you pick it up for yourself.
Yeah, I really sincerely doubt how all the Lone Druid games have gone for every team. That they're going to ban it unless there's some crazy 5-head stuff coming out, but I don't see why you would have to do that. Okay, they get the Lone Druid.
They even did the Inch ban, which is a good adaptation as well. They did not have to ban the Naga or the Sand King, which allows them to get the Lone Druid. Sure, we're going to talk about the Mars on Ramses being good, but Lone Druid, in my opinion, the best hero in the game against Mars, because you can't spear back the bear at all. It just doesn't work. So that's one great instance of it. And if you get trapped in the arena, you're just really tanky. You don't mind. You'll just...
He doesn't care, yeah. The Lone Druid is almost impossible to kill. I mean, you spear the Lone Druid, and the bear just heals.
Jalur ring, jalur stuff.
This is a reasonable solution to the Lone Druid. Because you have a slower timing in a way against Lone Druid. Because you need to maybe get your BKB, you know. Lone Druid kind of doesn't really need too much. You are fighting way earlier than the Wind Ranger, but it does give you some solutions.
Okay, surely this game we see a Revenant's Brute, right? A Lone Druid is an armor-based hero.
I mean, I would agree. I think Pure has shown that he's adapting a lot through the tournament, and I think he looked at the games yesterday from Liquid and saw that as well, and will probably adapt. I wish I could sound smart about these picks, but I already said it earlier. The carry pool is just so limited. Like, Lone Druid's picked, Wind Ranger's the next on the list, and that's about it for now. So we got our 2 carries already figured out here. And now we're just going to start targeting players that we feel like should be targeted. I feel like if you are on Gaiman, you're definitely looking at either Ramses or Thompson as per usual. So which one of those are they going to target? It's going to be the Centaur for Tundra, and then the Clockwork, which actually is support respect pick. Works really well with the Clockwork in the lane.
So we have seen Gaimin go for the Underlord versus the Wind Ranger. Natural Crimson Buyer, also a hero that has built-in damage reduction in the aura. Once again, talking about the Revenant's Brood, that seems like a decent counter. In terms of Blade Mail heroes that are Centaur-like, Centaur's probably the best counter in terms of that against Windrunner.
I mean, if you're expecting the Broach from Wind Ranger, I think Kunkka is
I was going to say Kunkka is probably the Blade Mail type option that will also allow you to kite through the Whirlwind without just having to kite through it with damage reduction. Like the Revenant's Broach doesn't do anything against the run buff.
Yep, Shadow Demon, Wind Ranger, I guess they probably don't really want the Wind Ranger to play into the SD Purge later down the road, so they're choosing to pick it up on their side. Not sure if you're going to be in the lane with the Wind Ranger. I think overall I still prefer a melee hero with the Wind Ranger, like something like a Train Protector. That would be great, but right now they just don't want the Wind Ranger, I guess, to run into the SD. And for Gladiators, they're going to have to figure out how to deal with this in the lane.
I just don't know what Ramses can play versus Lone Druid. Like, this hero has always been very strong in the laning stage. It just, we didn't see it picked very often because its mid-game was not good. But now that they introduced the new facet of their necessities, here you get 3 items, and you become this mid-game powerhouse where he was kind of weak before and definitely
would
fell
you
off
say
the mid-game.
Darkseer making a copy of him could be an option?
That is interesting, but it's a really bad lane for Darkseer.
But don't you just like skip the lane and...
Maybe that's what you have to do. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. And Ramses Darkseer is not a hero he has picked at all this tournament. Doesn't really fit the archetype of what Tundra want to do as a team. So I'm just baffled that they gave away the Lone Druid. This hero just seems unsolvable right now. So, and I'm not currently seeing anything that Tundra is doing that is solving it right now. Like, you have Shadow Demon, doesn't really do a lot versus the hero, as he does have 2 units. Wind Ranger, maybe the Brooch will be a good option since you are very high armor.
Is it just the Doom again? You Doom the Lone Druid, he can't heal. He's very tanky, you have percentage-based damage.
Your guess is as good as mine, but clearly, and I hope for Tundra's sake, they have something very potent.
This is the buff. Marcy and Mirana, Solar Flare, and the rebound on the Lone Druid. This is looking really, really scary right now.
They really need something to kill the Lone Druid. I feel like Doom is the best. You click one guy, press R, and they die type hero, and everything is about this Lone Druid right now.
I mean, on the support side, do you think like a hero like Winter Wyvern could be a decent solution to LD? You have like some form of control, you have like a percentage-based damage.
They actually picked the Mars into...
They don't care, right? They just want to get what they want.
I just don't see anything better that like has been proven, right? So they're just going to go with Ramses does best, just initiate in. None of these really look like good options against the Lone Druid.
I mean, it's still good with the Wind Ranger, right? We saw the combo. You trap him in, and he runs in, and hopefully you kill the Lone Druid before he kills you.
Hello guys. Hello.
They need more damage though, because right now it's currently only Wind Ranger doing the damage, and we've seen, especially in the last game, some games this Wind Ranger isn't enough damage. You need something else to supplement it. Snap can't just like assume that this Wind Ranger is going to be top net worth in the game, and it's just going to kill everyone, and all you have to do is disable. So yeah, Snap could work.
Snap Phoenix. Would you have preferred Phoenix percentage-based damage against Lone Druid?
Man, I really like the Kunkka here. I feel like if you can just... They go for the Underlord, okay. That's the other option. I mean, you have the damage reduction aura, you have a Crimson Buyer against the Windrunner. It's a Pipe Buyer as well against all of the overwhelming magic damage that comes from the Mars and the Snapfire. And it's just Ace's current preferred hero.
Yeah, probably his best hero right now. It's very good with the Mirana in the lane. You can set up the arrow. It's very good at protecting the Lone Druid in the game. And if SD is the position 5 here, I feel like Underlord should have like a pretty decent early game.
Now we're back to the mid laners. Very familiar with this last pick mid situation.
Yeah, we think we're back to the mid laners.
That's true, but what is the flexibility on this one? I mean, Thompson could play Wind.
Wind mid, yeah.
But I'm telling you from a carry player like perspective here, there's 2 to 4 heroes that you can pick, and everything else just feels bad. And it feels like the mid lane, you have way more options. A lot of heroes can feel pretty good in the right situation. So as much as Topson can play Wind Ranger, there's just no more carry heroes left unless you want to go with some DK or Alchemist last pick here.
I mean, they kind of need like for gladiators, like a Puck Storm type of hero.
Both teams want Puck, I think. Yeah, Tundra's gonna ban it.
That was a good Rubik ban whenever under Lord. Topson, he does enjoy the mid Rubik, so I think we saw a game the other day where Rubik's circles were much bigger than the Underlords.
So Quinn needs...
so it has to be like some Pango primal hero left, right?
Ooh, Pango.
I don't know. You mean for Quinn?
Yeah, I mean Pango is pretty good into the arena.
Aren't you
pretty good in his Snapfire?
I mean, don't you just risk being dazzled? I feel like the Topson loves these last pick scenarios when he's playing against
the lineup work for them though? If they're going to pick a Dazzle with a Wind Ranger and Mars, like, do they have like an overall good enough lineup to win the game? It's good for the lane, but is it good for the game? You know.
Nice call.
I don't think he's gonna be too really worried about his lane matchup. I think he's thinking more of the game. You know, what is good for Tundra in the game.
I mean, it's interesting because they banned Storm and Puck on Tundra, which are two heroes that are good against the Pango, so Gaming did a really good job reading these 4 bans and kind of using Tundra's bans against them here by picking out this Pango.
So it has to be like what, a primer as a response maybe? You counter the Pango in a way, and maybe you can kind of try to fight with your Mars and Wind Ranger, low tempo, low cooldown hero. You don't really need to wait around too much. I think they need to play fast, you know, they need to match this Gladiator's speed. They can't really like play too greedy here.
What about the Topson Grimstroke mid?
You're gonna have to really sell me the next 40 odd seconds.
You press R on Pango and then he stops rolling. And it's also very...
Quap stops the roll kinda with the Sonic Wave.
Oh yeah, Quap dumpsters Pango in lane. Although, is that still true given how Pango now has the barrier and Quap is not really maxing Dagger as much?
You could get a couple of points in Dagger if you want to win the lane.
You can just go back to Viper if you want to. When in doubt, Viper it out. Oh, Batrider. Okay.
Okay, that is very interesting.
That leaves you options here, but he's just going to instant pick it. Okay, so Bat mid versus Pango. This is a matchup that I feel like Pango, if you just hold your spells correctly, shouldn't die. And you're going to have like a lot of stick charges based on how this hero functions. So the reposition ability is something I guess we could talk about. This lineup truly is all in on Tapura, I feel. He has to get farmed this game.
Yeah.
He's got lots of repositioning tools with the Arena Spear, with the Lasso, and on top of that, like, he doesn't have any buffs either, so he has to just have a lot of net worth. He's doing pretty much all their damage past 30 minutes into this game, so he's going to have a really good laning stage, but I will give it to him. I definitely think Pure has been one of the best players of this tournament so far, really stepping up. He hasn't had a bad game yet, so I think believing in Pure is not a bad strategy.
But I believe in simplicity. Gaming has a very simple lineup to execute, and in a stressful moment like this, I think simplicity is the key.
So was comfort. I mean, people say Quinn does not lose on Pango. I still believe that. They got the Lone Druid. That's very overpowered as well. I think we're going to see a game 3 here.
Okay, I mean, we're all hoping so. You can already hear some of the cheers from the crowd. They would love a game number 3. But this Lone Druid, I've heard many times before just how Imber it is. In fact, I've heard from one specific person before. That's Moon, the coach of Tundra, who is joined with Tsunami down on stage.
Oi.
If you weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you again. If you weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you again.
Will the Pango manage to get Gaming Gladiators into a third game, or will it be their downfall? They relied on it in years past, Avery, but it's a different meta now.
Their question, though, is Pango a real hero now, or is he still a fake hero? Because it might decide Quinn's fate at this TI. He has gone back to his roots, gone back to the comfort, the security, the nice warm embrace of a rolling thunder. But will it betray him in the end? That is the ultimate question. We will find out in this game, too. It is an interesting one, because it's not a hero we've seen have a huge amount of success this event. But like Moon mentioned, when you get to those last bans, the Storm is out, the Puck is out, you have to pick blind against a potential last pick that you know Topson is going to be like, I'm going to play every cheese under the sun. I dare you to pick some normal melee hero. It's a scary situation. And so they have to go to something that they feel like is just robust enough to work in almost any situation.
And what about that response to it? We saw the Bat Rider picked up. Is that a good enough answer to the Pango? I mean, we heard the panel suggest a lot of things. I mean, Jenkins is out here throwing out, you know, mid-grim strokes. I think, you know, there was a more reasonable suggestion, and maybe the Queen of Pain. Instead, we went the Bat Rider, a hero that has been on and off scenes in the last couple of months, but not super popular.
I have no doubt that Queen of Pain was suggested, and Topson probably said, no. I saw someone else play that this event, so that's off the list. I think Bat is a hero that we've seen him go to as one of those melee mid-abusers. It's in that vein of like the Dazzle Vipers, right? But it does a bit more in terms of initiation power and just skirmishing around the map. Yeah. I've also seen this Bat Rider fall flat, like even in his hands. It's a very volatile hero. It can either be explosive, you get power runes, you're running around the map, you have a really fast tempo, and all of a sudden you're a force. It can also be kind of lackluster if the lane doesn't go your way, and then some of your spells just don't feel as strong as something like the Queen of Pain, like we saw yesterday in Nisha's hands, right? Just decimating an entire team fight. Bat Rider's like, I'm going to kill one guy, ruin his day, hope the rest of the team wins the fight.
Well, we'll see whether or not this Bat Rider is going to fall flat. One thing that we are pretty sure will not fall flat is old reliable for Tundra. They've got the side lane cores of Mars and Wind Ranger, heroes that we've seen again and again and again in this tournament and for this team. And in their hands, we'll see whether or not they're able to upset Gaming Gladiators. Gaming Gladiators have another very important hero that I want to talk about, though, the Lone Druid. They took it away from Pure, got it into their own hands. It fits into what Gaming Gladiators like to do as well with a lot of this 5-man push stuff that they're doing. Is this hero answered? I mean, it's a first pick for a reason, right? You've got so many heroes to be able to try and counter it. Did Tundra answer the Lone Druid?
I mean, we saw this Lone Druid as an answer to Mars in a lot of games, and this was a first pick, so you kind of have to have faith that Lone Druid just powers through everything here. It has some good matchups in this game. I feel like it's not directly answered, but Tundra might be able to play around it by getting the jump, right? Bat Rider's a hero that can find him. You have long-range kisses that can come through. You have Mars that can kind of separate off the fight, and then Wind Ranger to deal the damage. I think their lineup can deal with it in its entire whole together, but there's no like real direct answers to this hero. I also posed the question of like after that series yesterday, does this hero have answers in the game, or is he just completely broken? Like some of those team fights that Pure was getting away with yesterday were just ridiculous. I'm not even sure if there aren't some things about this hero that are actually busted right now. Like, is he bugged? Yes. Is he working? I don't know. Some of those things just looked absurd. So I feel like this hero can power through anything, and on top of that, Gaiman put him with double damage buff in the Murano with the Solar Flare, plus the Marcy with the sidekick. So,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
There's a lot of damage you can pump out with this Gaiman lineup. They feel a lot more stable than last game, and I think Tundra are going to have a tougher time breaking them apart. That said, they do have some of their signature supports for the tournament. A Wind Ranger for Pure that he has popped off on, and maybe a lot of it comes down to that Ramses Mars, right? He's now 7-1 on this hero, just doesn't lose. Pure will snag the first blood, big win for him.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiators, before the runes actually spawn, they are off to a good start with Quinn being able to get a D-ward on mid, so he gets that extra bit of golden experience. But the side lanes maybe falling apart a little bit there as they gave up first blood for the kill on Tofu. Still, though, Saksa also dies in the off lane, leaving Ramses alone for a minute.
Sure, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 would love to have had that first blood gold himself on this hero, considering what this hero can do with a good start. You just run away with the game, right? Yeah. And he's looking to free farm this lane. Marcy can set up some kills as well if you get some lucky roots. But I will ask Austin, should you have given Ramses this Mars this deep in the event when he is not losing with this hero, when it feels like the comfort pick for Tundra at this point? I mean, somewhere, Collapse is watching the series going, why didn't I just get Magnus every game?
Seriously. I definitely think it's a potential mistake here for Gaming Gladiators. I wouldn't be giving Mars to these guys just because, as you said, it does feel like they are so comfortable on it, and on this main stage with all the nerds that are going to be going around, it feels like comfort has to be king. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 is comfortable on any weird hero, and he's going to be rocking the Batrider here, which has not gone very well for him at this initial part of the laning phase. He is 7-1 compared to 13-4 for Quinn Spangolier.
And we see, like, he's just going to take a water rune. That bottle's coming out now. It's been a slow start for him on that mid lane. Quinn definitely getting the upper hand, but of course this matchup comes down to, can the Batrider just randomly get a solo kill at some point? Do you rotate into that mid lane, get a clutch pickoff? And most importantly for this matchup is probably the power runes. Like the 6 and 8 minute power rune can decide a lot in terms of what this Batrider can ramp into. Or does he play a slower game, just getting jungle stacks up and using the Firefly to accelerate his farm?
You can see very clear every single time Quinn comes in, has no sticky napalm stacks on him, and has shield crash ready to go. He can get aggressive on 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, but a couple of stacks up, and Quinn has to retreat. 𝙎𝙬𝘗 in some trouble here, as the blood grenade should spell his doom. Gaming Gladiators not only get that kill, but also protect the Lotus, preventing the Tundra team from being able to pick it up. And Ramsey's also in trouble. Both side lanes suffering there as they try and go for Lotuses. Gaming Gladiators quick to be able to punish that positioning.
Nice side lane gameplay here. Gaming want a fast start. I don't think they want to end up in a position like they did last time where they picked some of these lane dominators like that Viper and it just fell flat. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 gets his recovery time and you don't get the snowball action you're looking for. This is a much more solid start for them across all 3 lanes. Pure with that first blood gold is happy, but these supports on the side of Tundra are suffering. Not having that early snowball effect like we saw to the Enchantress last time where 𝙬𝘗 was just straight up winning 2 lanes. This is going to be a bit of a slower game for them. These are tough heroes to roam into to kind of skew it back in your favor. Like you're looking at the cores in this game, a lot of them are just extremely tanky in the early game.
Yeah.
The bracers are already up for Ace. He is cruising. Quick disruption on him.
See what they can do with that one. A lot of stacks there. 5 Shadow Poison stacks. That's going to do some hefty damage. That's going to get the kill.
Okay, even with the double bracer plus the stick charges, cannot live through that amount of stacking. 𝙬𝘗 finds his mark again.
I mean, just too much magic damage. Whenever you have a Shadow Demon, right, you just really don't run out of damage. Just a question of whether or not you could keep the hero there long enough.
I mean, that's the best timing, the level 3. With the level 2 poison, that's your kind of one window to bring these big guys down on the lane, snag that big kill.
𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, every single time we look at him in this mid lane lately, he has not much HP to work with. He got down to about below 100 from the last shield crash swashbuckle combination Quinn threw at him.
Quinn is definitely ahead on XP here. And 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼, he's double stacking the jungle. That's going to be the recovery and the acceleration here for the Batrider. If that gets stolen, though, that's a huge deal. Quinn's scouting it. So he knows these stacks are being created. Awkward situation for 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼. Like, do you call in support help here? You're not level 6. Look at a courier, but it does deliver the items.
All because that Marcy passive, the courier has the extra HP to be able to survive delivering the items to Quinn in time.
Almost level 6 on this Pango on the rotation.
And he goes through the gate, shows up here in the top lane. It's a disruption trying to lead into the spear, but Celery interrupts it, grabs Ramses, hops away. Can he make it out? The cookie lands onto him, stunning up for a second. Pure keeps the chase down. They manage to get that kill, but TP's coming in from Quinn. Oh, nice spear. Ramses stops the rolling thunder. Quinn still pops it though, hoping to catch up to these heroes, but yeah, by the time he gets there, they're already back to the safety of the tier 1 tower. Quinn, even daring into the tower a little bit if they were just a little bit closer, maybe.
Yeah, that was very close to 𝙬𝘗 finding the disruption. Then you can just throw all the nukes at him. He might die there. Ramsey's still getting rooted. I mean, this lane has been a struggle for him.
It is annoying. Pure is still around, though. Hit him with the cookie, but it put Pure close to the tower. Seller tries to punish him by tossing him into the tower range, but of course the win run deals with that pretty easily.
This is a 2v4 up here.
Yeah, what is going on up here?
And Tundra are not winning it. Just an empty lane bottom for Ace. 2-on-1 mid as...
Look at it. They're trying to head him off to prevent him from going through the gates. They're saying if you want to get back to the safe lane, you're going to have to use your TP.
And Quinn is still eyeing these stacks.
But they're going to go for 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝘄𝘼 again, trying so aggressively chase out these heroes. Celery tries to stop Hero from closing the distance, hits a two-man stun, but none of it's good enough. Not against the overwhelming numbers they're bringing to this. 3 heroes. Pure just keeps sticking around. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Tofu, who was not going up to that top lane, said, you guys have the 2v4. We're going to take this 2v2 in mid as they take some of the stack away from that Batrider, trying to keep Topson down.
Very interesting commitment from Tundra, just kind of getting stuck in that awkward situation. Top Pure.
Get the pin into the arrow land, not quite. And Celery is unable to get a follow-up stun either. Pure waving goodbye to Game and Gladiators as they fumble that gank.
Wisdom Rune gets claimed by 𝙈𝘆𝘆𝘆, but man, Soxa, this might be the lowest level I've seen him in a lot of these games. He's still level 3 on this snap after Wisdom Runes. He's gonna have to find some team fighting somewhere in this game.
Yeah.
And if you're gaming, I mean, you would love to take advantage of this right now.
Especially since you know Topson, well, they may not know, but Topson's just trying to max out his basic abilities here to increase his farm rate. No lasso, he's just gonna try and get to his first initial set of items, looking treads. This is gonna be a fast rush blink dagger kind of game.
Maybe. We'll see how much he wants to scale versus make stuff happen around the map. Could see an argument either way, especially with the start Pure has had on this Wind Ranger. He's still very farmed despite all these rotations top. Looking for 𝙎𝘊𝘆𝘆 again. Look at the ult, but
yeah, that was a nice poke from Tundra, right? Disruption, show a hero, 𝙎𝘊𝘆𝘆 immediately pops his ultimate. There really was no way they were going to get that kill.
They've been really obnoxious in this top lane. I don't know how much damage it's done, but it's been annoying. Now you have this gate up on Ace, though, yeah, so you have to worry about the dives.
And 𝙎𝘊𝘆𝘆 is also saying, like, all right, I'm tired of this nonsense. You keep on coming to my lane. I'm going to go to your lane, and I'm not going to try and get a hero kill. I'm just going to take your tower.
Double Demolish will get the job done. Might just go back through as well and defend, keep farming top.
Yeah.
Tundra lose the first tower here. Open up a lot more space for Ace. And ideally you want to start using this Rolling Thunder. Get Quinn involved, look for the team fights.
Aku nanya, ini saya ini baru atau udah lama? Kaliannya ini, ya masalah KDRT. Masa.
Gimana Om?
Apa?
There's uncontested. There's a lot of turnaround potential in this game and lineup if you make a move like that and it doesn't work out cleanly or quickly.
Yeah, cleanly and quickly was a big problem there, right? With no kisses immediately on the arena. Couldn't get that fast kill on the Lone Druid. Now things are just very awkward for Tundra. And it looks like Gaming Gladiators, maybe a mirror of Game 1 with better success as they are just picking up pace and they have an Aura hero behind them.
Looking for another big core pickoff. Ramsey's 200 gold off his Blink Dagger. Does not want to die right now.
They've coming through. Quinn tries to chase after him. Doesn't hit the slow from the shield crash. Celery diving into a tier 2 like that. I guess it's tanky enough. Thanks to the Pavis, he'll be able to shrug off some of the damage from the tier 2. But no luck on
Quinn
finding a kill. But maybe Quinn can find it somewhere else. Thompson, he tried to put himself up on this trunk area and TP out. But Quinn landed right on top of him, stopping that TP. So the best Thompson can do, try and get this kill on Celery. They actually need the extra help as Thompson's kind of tanky. So they bring in Ace. Ace will help deliver the kill. And back he goes through the gate.
Did pick up the shard here, just wants to output as much single target damage as he can on this bat, and that was his amp damage rune. Couldn't find anything with it as the gank comes to him first. Gaming controlling the side lanes, controlling the map right now. They still have ancient stacks as well. 𝙈𝘀𝘿 is going to eat through, or they're eating through him.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And finally that blink will arrive for Ramses. This has been a very different Mars game for him. Much more difficult one. He has not been the initiator we're used to seeing. And even with this blink, it's defensive positioning from Tundra here. They will smoke him out. So they want 𝙈𝘀𝘿 right now. They would love to be able to
𝙈𝘀𝘿's sitting on no HP, showing on the mid wave.
Oh, he's going for that shield. I mean, he's dead here, right?
Oh my god, he is so dead. 𝙈𝘀𝘿, they put way too much reliance on his ultimate to give him the HP he needs. Dies before it even comes into contact.
Maybe not aware this is the one part of the map where Tundra do have wards. They're both in that mid lane. The rest of the map controlled by the dire vision right now. Yeah, he's going to circle it out. He's like, they saw me, guys, but I mean...
Maybe it would have been better to just die to the Ancients.
It's true.
Instead, that kill goes to Tundra and really helps bring down that net worth lead that Gaming Gladiators was beginning to build up still, though. It does feel like Tundra... Are we going to be playing for like another triple BKB timing again, or is this a different tempo that's going to be set by Tundra?
I think you want triple BKB at some point. I think the Bats is going to be the latest here, but the other two are going to come out pretty fast. Wind Ranger already halfway there. Mars basically halfway there. Going to be an obnoxious item for Gaming. They don't have a lot that goes through it. It's kind of like the same problem Tundra have with Rolling Thunder. Gaming are going to have it with these BKBs. Just a question of how strong Ace is on this Underlord. Like, can he just be the bulwark in the fight that lets you push through those early timings? 9 seconds can be a long time, but if you have something like Pipe and Greaves to match that, you just sustain through it, and it doesn't matter. This Underlord is king of the map right now. However, you do have to worry a bit for 𝙈𝘀𝘿 here. Like, that was his 3rd death on this Lone Druid. Generally, this is a hero you don't want to exceed, 1 or 2 deaths in that early game. Really slows you down. He is falling behind a bit.
Yeah, I mean, considering the lead that Gaming Gladiators has had, the fact that he is 900 behind this Wind Ranger is very concerning.
I mean, Pure also has 3 deaths, but he found a bit more off the rotations, and he shut down the Bear in the laning phase.
Is there something to be said for the fact that, like, with this whirlwind facet, right? Like, he is splitting damage between all of the units that are in these fights, all these heroes that are in this fight. And Lone Druid operates with 2 units. That actually is going to significantly reduce the damage, particularly if you're including some auras from this Underlord, right?
That's nice. You get some extra neutral items on top of it that give you some extra HP or armor or whatever. Yeah, it's a big damage sword. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we saw about Lone Druid yesterday when Pure was playing it.
Yeah.
Is it caused a lot of teams issues in terms of you pump all this damage into the Lone Druid. If he doesn't die, that just wins you the fight on itself. You win by sheer fact of you dealt 10,000 damage and it all went into this hero and he doesn't care.
Is there a danger of Tundra running out of damage with this lineup?
That's a big question mark that maybe falls on this guy right here. Like, how much does this Bat Rider do in the ultra late?
Yeah, right? Is this shard right-click build
exactly
actually going to do something for us, or?
I mean, what does it even look like? You know, there used to be like Mask of Madness Bat Rider builds and stuff like this. Like, are you going to get a Gleipnir of your own? Are you just scaling into Hurricane Pike, BKB? You know, Moon Shard, I don't know. It's very weird territory. You might end up with an Ags at some point. You might want to go back for a Blink so you can try and find this Lone Druid at the start. Used to be like an Orchid or Witchblade build up on this hero that we could see him go into. There's a lot of single target damage options on the Bat Rider, but a lot of it's finding your big target in the fight and bringing him down first. And, you know, that's dependent on vision, dependent on initiation, where your wards are. A lot of factors Topson has to consider here. And, of course, Solar Flare is on the other side. So, Gaimin are not going to lack the overall team fight damage.
True.
I mean, Marcy plus Mirana, you can't really ask for more damage buffs here.
That is true. I mean, both of these heroes have shown that, yeah, they're giving damage to their allies, but also, like, going later into the game, Mirana and Marcy are, I think, my #1 and #2 when it comes to supports turning into cores. Like, heroes that are just able to do damage and kill heroes by themselves. And we've seen, particularly from the Mirana in this tournament, maybe less so from the Marcy. Whitemont going to be jumped underneath the tier 2 as we get back into play. Gaming Gladiators wasting no time to find kills.
And Gaming are itemizing for this kind of right-click buildup, right? Drum on the Mirana, Solar Crest on Celery. You're going to have a Vlad's at some point in this lineup, probably guaranteed. You're going to have the auras on the
They're still going to go for him. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 knows about this. He's baiting it out right now. He got off his ultimate. Can they catch anything for this one? Ramsey's going to go for the TP wave. TP wave, close call, but he barely made it.
That is close. And 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘼 will be the one dewarding here. He's like, I'm sick of getting jumped around this mid lane. Still a ward for Tundra in the back, but it's going to expire soon. Quinn wants to catch Topson again. Does have a shield rune here.
Do not let these heroes manage to cut waves. Quinn, make sure to get the punish on him. They did manage to get a rune, trying to prevent him from getting up the cliff and dodging some of this damage. Gaming Gladiators again, and back through. Ace needs some help, and he's going to get the full squad as reinforcements. Whitemont cut from behind.
These gates have been so efficient for Gaimin, just finding action on both ends. And all Pure can do is try and push out the waves and farm to his BKB. Not ready to take this fight head on. And look at this 18-minute potential high ground push here.
We've seen this before. We've seen this before at a TI for Gaming Gladiators. A pre-20-minute high ground push.
This is their bread and butter.
They tried it last game, but they were pushing into an Aegis, and they kind of missed their window. This time around, it feels like there's a much larger timing for them to do this. And even if it fails, I don't feel like their lineup's going to fall off nearly as quickly.
Nope. They get Tundra back a bit, get an ult out of Soxa, get half of a tier 3. Glyph is down. Very happy with that exchange. They're going to get the power rune for Quinn. A lot of these power runes have been going to top, so finally this Pango will snag one. It's a good one in this Arcane. And now the pressure's on Tundra to try and reclaim some of the map or make a move. You're still looking towards these BKBs. You're closing in on Pures. In fact, it's done flying out on the Courier. Ramsey's, it's a far ways off here. They're just going to roll on him.
See if they can chain stun him in between the mid arches. They've got him dead to rights. Ramses is out, and now Quinn's just gonna look for a little bit more here, see if there's anybody else from Tundra lurking around. And it's Topson, but he is quite fast.
Can run away. You can do that, but at some point you're gonna have to fight in this game because the push is coming. The Gleipnir's done for 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝘄𝘼. This Ags is flying out for the Pangolier. And you have Ace with the auras to back all this up. So another tier 2 will fall. That Arcane Rune Rolling Thunder also means it's going to be up again in less than 30 seconds here. Can easily make another play. Or just go straight into this tier 2 bottom. No Glyph available.
Yeah, this bear It's going to take this tier 3 so quickly. Here comes the game on through. They try to go for 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼, but he got up his ultimate. He has a way more HP. Do they have the damage to bring down this Lone Druid? To hop in for the Pangolier. They diced up Saksa, and it looks like this Lone Druid is dead. Can they do the damage from Gaming Gladiators? Anyway, what a beautiful spear back from Ramses. Managed to put somebody else isolated. It's the Marcy that goes down. Ace is on the run. He's low. Gaming Gladiators threaten the high ground, and they may pay the price for it. Though a Rolling Thunder catches Ramses, they try to push forward for the tower offlaner. Now he's in some trouble. Poison after poison, though, is coming in. Quinn, he misses the swashbuckle, fails to get the kill on Ramses, and here comes Thompson. He's got damage. Quinn, a TP away, denied by Ramses. He said, were you looking for me? I was on the high ground, and now I'm on the low ground, taking your life.
Huge team fight win for Tundra. Exactly what they needed in this game. A high ground hold that goes wrong for Gaimin as they didn't have an Aegis on that push, and it showed this Lone Druid. He's killable. He dies in the center of everything. Tundra are close to losing heroes of their own. But Thompson, he's able to skirt around the edge of this fight, come back in a second time, make his presence felt in this game. Now all of a sudden, you have the most farmed hero in this Wind Ranger. It's a big death for 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼. It's easily a fight that if Gaimin win, you're just taking racks, maybe multiple. Maybe on your way to closing out this game.
They really trusted in the fact that 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 was going to be tanky enough to be able to push through that, especially with Yoris behind it. But 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 is not able to make this Lone Druid look like Pure's Lone Druid did, where it gets jumped on and it managed to survive with a quarter HP time and time again. Maybe some of this is just the impact of the supports. I mean, that Shadow Demon did so much damage. 𝙈𝙀𝘼𝑚on was able to do a lot there onto the Lone Druid, stacking up 5 stacks of poison easily in the early part of the team fight.
Plus super clutch disruption on Pure to save him at the end.
Yeah.
And then Ramsey's able to come in a second time. Just the kiting. Perfect there from Tundra. Exactly what you want to do with this kind of lineup. Go in, take some damage on one hero, get out, use a disruption, come back in a second time.
Tundra take the time to do the Tormentor to get a shard for Saksa.
Downside here for Tundra is, even though you won that fight, I don't think you're contesting this Roshan. This one just seems too tough to get to, and in that kind of area, these auras are still going to go to work. We saw how long Ace survived in that fight.
Yeah.
He's just giving you the auras the whole time. The Atrophy, the Greaves, the Pipe, going into this Crimson. You put an Aegis on 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼, pump a Crimson behind this. This is the big power spike for Game in this game. This is going to be the hurdle to get over if you are Tundra right now. Need to farm as much as you can during this time period. Get those BKBs up and be ready for that exchange.
Yeah, speaking on that, it looks like a BKB is being built by this Lone Druid. Do you wait for that? Or is it too much of a threat, what Tundra have coming down the line?
I mean, they didn't give the Aegis to 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝘼. They gave it to Quinn.
I guess he's going to have to wait for the BKB then.
You don't go higher on this Lone Druid BKB now. And I think you really want to fight and find the pickoffs before you do it anyway. BKB done for Ramses. He was able to get there off that team fight win.
What's the point of giving Quinn the Aegis over the Lone Druid? Does that say they're just not going to push at all?
I mean, he can go in hyper aggressive now. He can try and jump on the Bat Rider, not fear getting lassoed and burst down. We saw how fast he died when he got speared.
They spotted Pure, and Quinn is able to follow it up. That got a BKB out of Pure. Not the way he wanted to use his second duration.
Follow up.
No.
You also have Disruption that can bail Pure out of a chain stun situation, let him win BKB out of that. So you do have to be careful on these committals if you're gaming. Another reason to give this Pango Aegis. He can go in, look for that chain stun. You get some spells or BKB out of the Wind Ranger, and all of a sudden your Pango's still safe. And BKB done for the Lone Druid. So 𝙈𝙀𝘄𝘼, he's online right now. Level 15 as well. Looking for that last tier 2. Tundra, I mean, you have two options, right? You can take the high ground defense fight. You can also try and smoke and wrap on Gaimin. And try and find that backline with your Mars jump plus your Bat Rider going in. It's one way to play around this Aegis if Gaimin commit to the push.
Yeah, it feels like a hard decision to make just because of the fact you're playing high ground with a Bat Rider. Usually you want to take advantage of that high ground area with that lasso pullback, but
I mean, he doesn't have blink is the thing.
Yeah, it's a very different Bat Rider than most we've seen through Dota history. This one's a damage Bat Rider.
He's very tanky as well.
Yeah.
If he finds his target, like Thompson will bring him down, especially with the support follow-up. You have to get in there. And a lot is dependent on the arena to set that up. Gaimin will swarm the map with another smoke. Just cross the lanes here, looking for a straggler bottom. There is Ramses, but No BKB Pierce means he can always just BKB TP out.
Yep.
And Tundra, they're poking into their own jungle, feeling like Gaming are split on the map. They're right about that.
They certainly are. Celery, shackle shotted. Ace is going to come in as well as Quinn to try and bail him out. Celery's still in trouble though, being chased by the pure whirlwind. Got all of these heroes inside the arena. Ramsey's coming in from behind. Hits a really nice one. Trying to finish off Celery. Still got the other support instead. Ramsey's he's not going to get it right now. Celery's actually bodying them. And Pure, he can't chase after it either. In fact, he's in trouble right now. He needs to get out. Thompson though, he did the damage to bring down the 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼. Pure, deep out on the map. He doesn't have a TP scroll. He's going to have to go through the gate. Gaming Gladiators do not seem to know where he's at, so it looks like Pure is away and clear.
A sick arena by Ramses, but the fight was super split, and the rest of Tundra could not get through that Pango Lone Druid front line. So he'll trade out some heroes, get an Aegis down, maybe stall out this push that could have come if Gaming successfully cleared through that fight. And I cannot believe Celery lived through all of that. He was the first target. Shows the strength of the auras here, mitigating a lot of the Wind Ranger's damage, and I mean, this Marcy has 3,000 HP. No joke right now.
That's a support for you in 2024.
Oh yeah.
Thompson's damage is building up though. He showed it by being able to kill that Pangolier. If you guys haven't seen this right-click Bat Rider, it does some big work, but it has a very high ceiling and a very low floor. So it's either going to be Flopson or Godson here in this game 2 of Tundra versus Gaming Gladiators. And right now they're looking at a 7K net worth lead for Gaming. They've lost that Aegis though. So maybe they feel like they can't push high ground. It already got rebuked the first time around. Maybe they're more comfortable just waiting for more items and more Aegises.
This is the part of the game where Gaming, you either feel comfortable with your scale or you don't. And if you don't, you really need to be finding more on the map, increasing this net worth lead and going to that next Roshan. Or you're just confident in the Solar Flare Marcy going to boost this triple core lineup into that late game. Thompson would love a couple more fights where he can just find that Pangolier, drag him to his doom. He's also the ideal scenario. Very close to BKB as well, which will just kind of guarantee that play.
Yeah, he'll always just be able to run straight at the Pango, even if he's rolling Thunder, right? That's going to be his best target.
Paired up poke here.
Whoa! Celery hopping way past there. I think he was looking for the Shadow Demon. Instead, they're going to have to try and kill Thompson as the disruption's down. But Velasco pull the bear back out. Now they're in trouble inside of this arena. The Bat Rider has been saved, and he can reset. Quinn, though, still looking for it. Hit with the Rolling Thunder. Maybe Thompson didn't back out in time. But he can turn back around. Did not respect the push coming in from Gaming Gladiators.
Gaming, they still have a lot of sustain here.
Nice tank there from Ramses, making sure that Pure is not going to be threatened by 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝘄𝘼 into Arrow. Now he's being threatened by a pit. Has to use the BKB. Chases after them with the Whirlwind. Doesn't have the arena to keep heroes inside this time around. They're going for the bear, and they might just be able to get it. Wait, the bear comes out. Stop the Kinson. Spear chases after him, but 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝘄𝑼's too fast. He gets ahead of him. Quinn's in the middle of this, trying to go after Pure with the wind run. No, it's going to run out. He gets taken out. Quinn finds his man. Buybacks being used by Tundra, but all of a sudden a 7,000 net worth lead has doubled to 15K, and the assault from Gaming Gladiators will be halted for now. But you have to feel like another round is coming in soon.
I mean, the first punch was landed. Triple buyback from Tundra here, just decimated their economy. They absolutely need to win this next team fight. This game might just end, and Gaming are not gonna relent. They're not gonna give up the pressure right now. 20 seconds, no Wind Ranger. You have to assume there's no buyback here anyway.
And they're looking the Underlord hit the tower, because look at all that bonus damage he has right now.
Plus 200 Atrophy Aura. Winding down a bit. But of course, you have damage buffs coming up. 30 seconds for the Solar Flare. All the auras are back up for Ace.
Pure is just about to come back up. They need to try and punish Gaming Gladiators while he's coming back up. The arrow does land onto Bat Rider, trying to get him cooking away. Gaming Gladiators chase and disruption. Still going after the Bat Rider while Quinn is disrupting all of these supports. Good hits all around. Rolling Thunder while Celery and 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝘄𝑼 are doing some damage. Celery won't stop until he's dead, which now he is. Now the rest of the team without their big Marcy carry apparently are going to make a run for it. 𝙎𝙁𝘾𝘄𝑼 uses BKB. Is it flee or fight? And Pure, a fight that he can't win apparently. A triple kill for 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼. Topson's next one left. There's only 2 members of Tundra still alive. And now make it 1. Gaming Gladiators own the Tundra base.
Absolutely rolling over them in the second half of this fight. Pure did not even get his BKB off, just got roared into oblivion. And the buyback from Celery. This beast of a 5 is back. He wants
leapfrogging over another one. Celery goes for it. Hippity hoppity finds the last kill of Gaming Gladiators. Tundra, they've lost their heroes, they've lost their base, and perhaps saving the best for last, the final day of TI. We'll finally get to see a Game 3 on the main stage as Gaming Gladiators. This time around, their push works around a lone druid.
The timing's just worked out way better here. This 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 controlled a lot of the map, controlled the fights. Topson just felt muted in that game. This bat did not come online fast enough. The early laning prowess from Quinn really shut him down in that one-on-one.
Predik gua salah, Cok.
Nggak apa-apa. 2-1 kan sih buat Tundra?
Bisa jadi di comeback nih.
Lihat.
Udah sampai Tundra pick invoker udah.
He's too good at using the damage buffs, the auras, the Roshans, the early pushes. You're just not ready for the bear. And he comes, takes a base, and like you said, we're gonna get a Game 3 for the first time in this event on the main stage.
We've had some great games here at TI, but these series, for whatever reason, just could not go to Game 3 until the lower bracket finals. See what the panel has to say as we finally get what we've all wanted.
It's been a long time coming, but a game number 3. We're finally treated to it. And let's break down everything that happened for that game number 2 to cause this. I mean, first of all, the laning phase. Quinn doing much better this time round. Of course, in game 1, he was on that up, but taking out the Enchantress, not having the same impact on 𝙬𝙀𝘾𝙄𝘼 for that mid lane, gave them that advantage. Quinn 𝙀𝙀𝘀𝑆, I mean, it's come back around 2024.
Yeah, everything comes full circle, I guess, but I do believe that matchup isn't supposed to be that hard for the 𝙬𝙀𝘀𝘀𝑆, and Quinn really showed it as well. Like, you do have the Swashbuckle that can get you out of danger. Now that they changed the shield crash as well, you can do a lot of trading with the Bat Rider as well. Topson, I think he misclicked his Firefly early on in the laning stage as well, which hurt him in his mana pool department. So all that really just adds up, and he looked really, really comfortable on the 𝙬𝙀𝘀𝘀𝑆. But I definitely have to go back to the elephant in the room here. You let Lone Druid through, and your answer was Shadow Demon Mars? Like, those heroes don't do anything to Lone Druid here. So I think Tundra, they're going back into the green room there, and they're really discussing the key problems of what happened in this game, and it's definitely the Lone Druid.
I do want to shout out the Gaming Gladiators ace Underlord. I said it when we were watching the game. This guy is straight up the best Underlord on the planet. The next person is not even close, honestly. The way that he uses the portals allows Gaimin to play so incredibly fast in these games where they do have an advantage, especially when they do have a tower pushing hero and those auras. Like, at one point, he used the portal to bring Quinn to him for a gank, and then it turned out to be required. Like, they were not going to get that kill without Quinn. I feel like he's just very, very creative. Like, every single one of these fights that we're seeing, there's a portal spawning in the most obnoxious place, cutting off somebody's team from them, you know? It's truly something to behold. He makes a very boring hero not boring.
Impactful, I guess, is one way to word that there. But there was just so much more going on. I mean, this Lone Druid, it was called out a couple times. The Marcy support as well, coming out on Celery. When you think of Marcy support, most of the time you think of 𝙎𝙀𝘀𝘀𝑆, what he's been able to do in previous series and previous tournaments, and you farm and you build into more of a core role or a pseudo-core winter. But here, Celery was doing so much on that Marcy for his team. Great reposition in pretty much every team fight.
Yeah, I think the key thing here is his lane with the Lone Druid. I think Marcy, you kind of need to be enabled in the lane, and Lone Druid is probably one of the better ones. You can jump on the bear, you can toss people back, so it's very easy for Lone Druid to kill heroes in the lane. We saw them kill off the Snapfire very early on. So I think these are the kind of things that kind of enable the hero, and after the early game, you need to farm and become a secondary or tertiary core in the game, and he did a really, really good job. He was really tanky. He was a very good frontline hero. He He initiated and he buffed his teammates and he kept everyone alive.
Si Rega mana?
The scoreboard at the end of game number 2, and your eyes do not deceive you. It is a Gaming Gladiators victory, giving us a game number 3. We thought that the Snapfire might have been that little bit of extra damage for Tundra that could have helped them, because you really were head scratching around. Right now it's just Wind Ranger that's going to be putting out the damage, and it's exactly how you guys predicted. It just wasn't enough. And on top of that, even with the Snapfire ulti, it still wasn't enough Fear.
Yang tahu keberadaan orang ini tolong chat ya.
Late game, you could definitely see those issues.
That's pretty much what I expected. I didn't think that Snapfire would solve their issues.
Yang tahu tolong
it
ya.
is good damage, but you have to chew through way too much HP with this lone druid hero. Another reason why this hero is so popular right now is when you kill the bear, it doesn't really matter as much anymore because all the items are on the hero. They're more effective on the hero. You press your ultimate, you have to chew through a bunch of HP. He's life-stealing on top of it. This Marcy is also helping him life-steal through it. And you don't have a way. The Doom is really good, right? Maybe in AA, these heroes aren't what you really want to pick in this meta. So it's going to be a little more difficult going to this game 3. I think the Lone Druid was an experiment. They thought they could take it down. They couldn't. More than anything than Lone Druid and all these other heroes I'm talking about, I think it's priority. First pick seems to be winning almost every single game in the last few days here. It might just come down to like a coin flip here on this game number 3 here, but if you're that second pick, you really have to come up with something here, because first pick seems almost unstoppable.
I do want to point out that kill participation from Celery was insane, by the way. 96% kill participation on Marcy, a hero that's not really that fast. It's not some Nature's Prophet Zeus that's getting like that global impact, but he was there for every single fight, and this is a new hero for him. In this tournament at the very least. Like this guy, his hero pool is fantastic. That throw onto the high ground in the mid lane where he threw Ramses and he completely disrupted that fight, it looked like this is the only hero that he's been playing for the whole tournament.
Yeah, like that's something that he's been spamming, and maybe he has been, just not in competitive, maybe in scrims, maybe in his pubs as well. But with a kill participation like that, let's have a listen in and see exactly who's doing the shot calls and how Gaming Gladiators were able to win some of these team fights.
I kind of have to gate with Ace. Yep. Careful top, I thought. Getting. I'll use ult too. I can make you.
Kalau GG Gaming yang ke final udah, Liquid yang menang.
Belum pasti
sih.
We're
not dead yet. I got him. I'm on the back line.
Yeah.
Build the back line.
Yang paling rese itu Lone Druid-nya anjir cuy.
SD's dead.
Lone Druid-nya, wah.
Okay, that's good.
That's even bottom.
Android dilepas Dota.
There were a long moments of silence in that.
Very calm.
Every other team we've listened into, even if it is calm, there's still constant
Lapar
there's
lagi
still
ya,
a lot of
gila
talking, but it feels like they don't need that in the same way for gaming.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes too much might not be good, you know. Like,
that's true.
You just need to say what you need to say. Everything is clear, and it's very easy for people to follow up. You know, if too many people is talking during the fight, then it can be a bit difficult for the players to follow.
Alrighty, we got some more information coming our way. Not only are we gifted with that listening, but we're also gifted with the knowledge of Purge.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, amazing game, number 2. Very, very close one, and I liked what Tundra did to try to deal with the Lone Druid. They basically rotated their carry and their support to the safe lane at a mere 5 minutes. The downside is that killing these heroes is really difficult because Lone Druid is by far the tankiest hero on the map, and even after the first one didn't succeed, they tried again. Pure stayed, landing more power shots, dealing more damage, again getting 𝙎𝘖𝘿𝘄𝘼 low, but not quite killing him. And then he stayed another 20 seconds to, again, a third time go on this 1200 HP hero at the 6-minute mark. This time they actually were successful, limiting 𝙎𝘖𝘿𝘄𝑼's farm a little bit, which is a good thing for them. And then they rotated back towards the safe lane, because Pure has to finally catch up a little bit, even though his net worth is high. But crucially, this ward here ended up being a really big deal, because what it did is it allowed Gaming Gladiators to dictate the next couple of minutes of the game, and they used to basically get multiple kills. Pure at nighttime, can't see much at all, ends up getting spotted as he runs through the jungle, and this gives them an easy kill setup. And watch this other crucial moment. Pure here is going to think that the ward's actually on this cliff instead, similar to when he died. So as a result of that, he fed his team bad information that kind of led to bad engagements. Check this out. 𝙎𝘿𝘆 ends up going through the jungle, almost gets arrow killed, ends up getting ran under tower, doesn't quite die, but it starts this team fight chain of events. Pure does end up killing the Mirana, but he's going to end up getting punished for it. The nice Fiend's Gate is going to bring the Pango over, and as they're about to retreat, this ward is still here on the cliff, and as a result, now they get to go on Ramses. So they get this extra kill off of it And then on top of that, what it just cascades into is an Underlord being extremely far ahead. He didn't get touched this entire period of time, so all the sacrificing that Tundra did to try to shut down 𝙎𝘼𝘾𝘄𝘼 just gave Ace an incredible game. And unfortunately, the one other hero that wasn't in these team fights was Batrider until now. He spent a lot of time farming, and his impact was not enough despite being AFK on the map. So that is how Gladiators got ahead, and once they had that aura advantage on Ace, they ran with it.
Waternya ono waktune toh.
Thank you
Conjuring.
so much, Purge.
Conjuring what?
I love you there. I always
Kalau ketilang.
admire the knowledge and the deep dive that he's able to give us there. Vision has always been a priority within Dota, and I think Tundra has been one of those teams that has been very on top of it. Gaming Gladiators as well, though, Winter, you've had some stats in the past of how, even though they have one of the shortest game averages, they still have one of the highest keywording and observable
Ngewangi mage gitu.
Yeah, they're really good at finding their opponent's wards and they're placing their wards in positions where it's very
difficult. 80 gold, water 40 tae bajingan.
To do with it, because when you're playing fast, you're attacking into your enemy territory, and it's very hard for them to come in and de-ward. Maybe they know the ward, but they can't really afford to spend time to find it because they're on the defensive. And it's really important that when you're attacking, you need to have good vision.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, they move into certain areas when they're like sweeping across the map with these auras that they have to bring a ton of sentries and de-warder, because otherwise you're fighting into opposing vision. I also think what they're very good at is holding an area once they do have vision down. We saw it there. There was the bait on the ward where it looked like he was going to portal out, but then they just stayed and then baited on top of that ward. The good teams are very good at doing that, deciding to just linger around for 10
ora iki ora gentian no aku kabeh yo sing ngetengi yo. Dari 31% tok lho. Aku kegitik modern.
I think in the second half of that presentation as well, which was interesting to see, was they brought 4 heroes to stop the lone druid. That was like their strategy. And Pure, he stayed up there for like 2 minutes. Like trying to punish this lone druid. And if you have to do that, that is an overcommit. Now all of a sudden this Underlord is farming for 2 minutes. He's catching up in the laning stage, and he becomes a problem in this game. So their idea was to try and shut down lone druid. If you have to bring 4 heroes to shut down 1 hero, that's a problem. There's something wrong with that hero, and it needs to go.
The cost is too high to solve it.
Definitely.
Have people just forgotten how hard Ace has been able to carry games in the past? Like, what is going on? How can you be so tunnel vision to be like, lone druid, you got to focus him, and then Ace is just running around doing whatever he wants? I mean, this team has thrived on that so many times before, Jenkins.
Yeah, it is funny how, okay, that's a very good argument for banning out the lone druid, if this is how many people you need to solve it, because I do feel like in the past where we have seen Gaming Gladiators struggle is when people go on Ace, when they like 3 to 4 man this hero. But the thing is, this has also been something like we saw 33 get left alone the other day as well, and he 1v5'd the game on Sand King. So it just seems like it's kind of a trend right now to play in the safe lane, which gives the offlaner some free farm, and then you see these offlaners having some crazy performances.
I feel like this is all because of the pick order. If you're second pick, you kind of have very little control, less control compared to the team on the first pick, and you kind of need to pick which one you have to go against, right? And they have unfortunately chosen to go against lone druid. It didn't work out. I think that because they're already 1-0 ahead, I feel like it was worth the risk, for them to try that. And right now they just need to figure out if they're going to have to ban it or they have to let something else through.
Do you feel it's also a bit of a double-edged sword where, your opponent's getting that first pick, so they get to have their choice of whatever Imber hero is still left in the pool, and then on the other side of it is, even though you're getting overall last pick when you're second pick, the pool is just so small of what feels impactful at this moment that you do have to think outside of the box, and you're looking towards a Batrider mid overall last pick.
Yeah, because they didn't really have a lot of flexibility in their last couple of picks, and I also feel like drafting has overall changed a lot. I think in the past you have a much easier time being on the second phase team, and you can find a really good solution for your 24th pick. But nowadays I think teams are just really good at covering their bases. They're very good at using the second phase bans to ban out whatever is really good with their drafting setup. And even if you have the 24th pick, if you don't really have a very good gacha pick in the last phase, so what's the point of having the 24th pick?
May I propose a solution here?
Please, Fear, I would love to hear.
Okay, so
is it Grimstroke mid?
It's absolutely not anything to do with mid laners. So moving on from that, I think what you can do when first pick is always OP is you can do something called leaving heroes in the pool. So you can make a trade. And I feel like that's something that has not been happening. I feel like you ban all these OP heroes, you leave one through because you can't ban them all, but you're only leaving one through. What if you don't ban all the OP heroes and you leave like 2 or 3 in the pool? That way you can actually make a trade here. And I feel like second pick has really been struggling because, you know, the hero that we have eyes on is either Sand King, the Lone Druid. They're just winning every game. You're trying to adapt to these OP heroes, but you just can't. So maybe making a trade is something you can consider.
That is potentially something these players have thought about while they were backstage in their warm-up rooms preparing for our very first game number 3 on the main stage here at TI13. I want to use a very slight example while we let the players sit down in their chairs and get ready in the lobby is in that previous series, Fear, you're almost saying maybe don't ban the Naga and the Sand King on the side of Tundra. So it's those plus the Lone Druid that's left in the pool. And now you're bound to get at least something that is going to give you...
Sniper though.
Sniper,
like,
okay.
We talked about briefly if you're going to leave Sniper, and it was Sniper and Lone Druid, right? Because Sniper will be good against Lone Druid. That's like one of the few things that you could do.
I see.
I think Sand King maybe not. I feel like Sand King is like too difficult to deal with. It's very similar to Lone Druid. You need too many things to deal with it, and it's not going to worth it in the draft. You know, you have to do. It's just too stressful. You know, you have to beat him in the lane. You have to steal his stacks, and in the team fight, he's just such a big problem.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to leave some Sand King, Lone Druid, Sniper trade, because I don't think you can ban them all. It's not possible to have them banned. And those are not even like all the heroes you have to consider. We still have the Invokers that we saw. We saw these Enchantresses doing really well. Tusk looks unstoppable. So there's just a lot of heroes, and I didn't even mention Naga, right? So there's a lot of heroes right now that are good, but those seem like the meta 3 for how the tournament is progressing right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Sniper. I think that if you're Tundra, Sniper in general seems theoretically good against Lone Druid. It does enough damage to, you know, whittle away at his 4,000 HP, and you know, Lone Druid's gonna have to go for the what the hell's the item? The one you forgot last time.
Harpoon.
The Harpoon, of course. Nobody goes for
Everyone
that.
forgets that one.
They only go for it on Lone Druid against a Sniper. But if you're, you know, you have Topson on your team, I feel like he's also going to make it work. Like, he is one of the few snipers that plays with the Aghanim Shard. He gets an early grenade, and he does cool stuff with the concussive grenade. So because you have Topson, and because theoretically it should be good anyway, that's definitely enough to warrant potentially letting the Lone Druid through.
You don't see maybe a weak spot in the Sniper. Everyone says, like, this is why we looked at Sniper potentially pose 4 for so long in this tournament, is his early game damage is extremely high.
Biasa
Right?
farming leh, nyari uang leh.
I feel you want to farm.
Dapat duit nih leh.
Not sure if you
Gua rasa
can
si
see
Tundra
that
ini ya.
supports love to work with, and
Aduh
maybe that's
hero
what
anjir.
opponents are able to capitalize on, and then all of a sudden the Lone Druid isn't really being looked at.
Yeah, I don't really think you can deal with it very much just because Tundra is a team that has Ramses as their active player. So typically Topson doesn't have to be active at all on this team, so he can play that. And the same reason why Sniper looks good is the same reason why Lone Druid looks good. You can't beat this guy in lane. You can think as much as you want at what theoretically might counter these heroes in the laning stage. It just doesn't work. They're always going to have a good laning stage, and they're always going to propel to some item timing where they feel like they're very difficult to play against. And I'll still always remember that Aurora game where they triple countered the Sniper, and it still didn't work. So like, I just don't believe in countering some of these heroes if they can get off to a good laning stage, and I have not been proven yet that you can counter these heroes on lane.
I want to put a small caveat to that Sniper game. He did have a Pugna with him on the side of Sniper that for so many fights was just this battery. Just gave him extra help to be able to stand there and not have to worry too much about what he's positioning.
Yeah, even the Decrepify was a lot because there was physical damage required to kill the Sniper. There was a Lycan, there's a Spectre. Sure, there's a little bit of magic damage, but it's mostly physical, so it was enough.
Absolute cinema. That man loves his Twitch emotes.
Nah,
I
jadi
don't know how he knows that he's on camera, by the
Dia
way.
pengen
He
lihat
actually does
settingan
that every
OBS lu
time,
gimana.
hoping.
He's just doing that
Gua
once
pengen
every
nanya, lo
15
tau
seconds.
He's actually doing it right now. It's
Pretty
just
sure
on
the camera
TikTok.
line comes by and answers.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Whether you're live or not, you don't
Kenapa?
really know, right?
Live.
So,
Lo tau gak?
just gonna pull.
Kenapa emang?
He's in good spirits for sure, you know.
Gua nggak tahu nih, gua adu argumennya sama orang.
Not only that, but
Dia
getting
ngotot.
to win it, getting to be the
TikTok
first
sama
team
OBS sama gak?
to
Bisa satu
put
gak?
it end, even if just for one game towards Tundra's
Menurut lo?
lower bracket run.
Tapi bisa, tapi kalau misalnya lu dapat streaming kayaknya. Emang lu dapat streaming kayaknya dari TikTok?
Talked about it so much. How
dapat streaming
these
kayaknya dari
teams
TikTok.
normally aren't able to have that
Gua nggak tahu,
stability
gua
in their
nggak
emotions
ketemu
to
caranya. Yang
be
gua tahu
okay
sih.
with going games down.
Tapi kan tetap beda.
Menurut lo yang pengalaman kayak gitu siapa deh?
They still had structure towards their team.
Ada sih temen gue
Very aware
Magic
of
Kiss.
what all their time
Bilang,
was
wah,
worth.
ini
And
orang.
it didn't feel
Udah,
like a team
terserah
that
aja dong.
was literally on the brink of elimination.
Terus?
Yeah, I think they got
Gua
everything they
bilang,
wanted in
intinya
the
kan
draft, which
kayak
definitely
Indomaret
helps
sama
when you
apa?
get into your comfort zone.
TikTok,
Like when you're in an
TikTok,
elimination
gitu.
situation, guess what? You get
Ada yang
Ace
ngotot,
on
dia
his Underlord, all of a sudden you
bisa
feel bad
masuk ke
Pango,
OBS.
Quinn Pango, they all win in their element.
Bisa, kalau misalnya lu dapet
rather that they
ininya.
outdrafted them pretty heavily.
Makanya itu nggak ada settingannya di
So
mana?
yeah, everything worked out and now all of a
Di
sudden
enggak,
in
maksud
this
gua
game
tuh ini
three
Hong yang
situation,
streaming
both
kayaknya
teams
kan kalau
are
di
feeling
YouTube kan
it.
ada streaming
This is
kayaknya
when
tuh.
the best Dota is
Iya.
Yeah, I agree. I think this will be a very competitive.
Lu tahu
game
kan streaming
because
kayaknya?
Tundra also they're,
Tahu,
you know, they let the lone
Udah,
draft.
kalau di
main
TikTok
OBS
I think
ya.
they can kind of
Nggak,
go back to the
ketemu,
drawing
begitu
board on that one.
settingannya
They
nggak ada.
still had a decent
Iya, emang
performance.
nggak
I think
ada.
Mars
Nah,
into
Maksud
lone
ini
gua
dari
kalau
mana?
misalnya
which
TikTok itu, hah?
is specifically
kayaknya,
what
Cok.
people bait. Like you
Emang
want
nggak ada,
the
makanya
lone
gua
druid
kan
versus
kan
Mars
bisa bilang.
matchups in the game, and still Ramses look pretty good.
I mean, it also says
Oh, udah.
how much they really want the Mars, right? So it's just probably easier for them to just make sure that he doesn't have to deal with lone druid.
Yep. I think both sides we're going to see a lot of comfort picks.
Sama siapa adu bacotnya?
Hah?
I will say,
Sama
yeah,
siapa?
that Mars,
Ada
he kind of
orang.
just did what he's been doing every other time he's got.
Gua bilang ibaratnya kayak Indomaret sama apa,
You
udah.
just initiate for your
Khusus
team. That's all that
TikTok
matters. You
studio
know,
ya,
he's
udah
able to
situ
get some
doang.
good arenas off for himself.
Kalau emang
We'll
ada
see if he
OBS,
can do it
Iya.
with
OBS lagi.
Di OBS memang.
Get his hands
Jadi gini
on
Hong,
this
di OBS
Mars
itu
because
memang ada
it
untuk
brings me so
TikTok.
much
Cuman kan
pleasure to
streaming
tell
kayaknya kan nggak
everyone watching
ada.
at home and in the arena.
Nggak
We got
ada
a game number 3
settingannya.
draft.
Iya nggak ada settingannya. Maksud gua tuh yang streaming kayaknya itu yang nggak ada. Lu paham sih streaming kayak? Yang kode itu loh, yang kayak di YouTube
Tahu
itu loh.
gua, Cok.
Nah, yang itu.
Itu dia ada judul masing-masing. Kalau emang ada TikTok, ya udah masuk situ TikToknya, minta key doang.
What
Itu nggak
heroes
ada.
are these teams gonna let through? Do you widen that hero pool?
punya-
You allow as many different meta and OP
Apa ya,
heroes
siapa ya? Ada
through as
temen
you
nggak? Siapa
possibly
sih
can.
yang
We'll
streaming
see.
TikTok
What we
itu?
do know is that Tundra has
Nggak
that
ada, Cok.
first
Di-
pick,
di-
and I
di
have
OBS
no
nggak
doubt
ada,
in my
anjing,
mind
TikTok.
They want the lone druid.
Kan gua udah bilang, nggak ada anjir.
Iya emang nggak ada.
Yang bilang ada siapa, Bang?
Deny that.
Sand King though.
Terus
We go again.
Yeah, you're right.
yang
Thank you.
yang jadi permasalahannya
Bisa dia bilang.
And with
Mau yang
the
gua
flex
pastiin
that
lagi
they
Nggak ada,
have,
Jing.
more than capable of doing, it is
nggak ada, nggak ada, nggak ada.
even more like
Adanya cuma Namo TV nih.
Kan gua udah bilang, nggak ada monyet.
Sama Facebook Live nggak adanya itu doang.
Facebook ada, OBS masuk dia. Ibaratnya tuh kayak Indomaret sama apa?
Tundra
Itu doang, Cok.
Esports turn to ban.
Iya.
Ada yang ngadu argumennya, ih anjing gua bilang.
I mean, I do feel
Udah
like it's still
terserah
like
dia
more
dong.
about like the early game.
Gua
I
nggak
think
mau
if you
debat
can
konyol
get
gitu
a
lah,
lot of
anjing
value
ngapain
off the
bangsat.
early game with the Eng pick.
Kalau emang benar-benar bisa, aku pengen lihat sendiri tuh.
Second king, but it would still be.
Oh, bring out the big guns right away.
Right
Lah,
away.
anjing,
They're
bener.
answering offlaner with offlaner. This is a hero that will buy the pipe for you right away.
Udah tahu
Which is
TikTok
nice against the
punya
Sand
sendiri.
King. This is something that
Bilangnya
is
OBS,
absolutely
OBS.
comfort
Wah,
to gaming
sakit,
gladiators.
anjing.
I don't actually mind this opening too
Emang
much. Like,
mirip
I
OBS,
think
emang
Ramses
mirip.
will pick this hero.
Sebenarnya
Like, this is
beda.
mine. We saw Thompson play it last game. They do have the flex
Tetep
potential.
nggak ada,
But
Cok.
this is 100% just going to be
Ini lagi
Ace's
gua
hero no matter
tanyain
what.
sih.
I think this
Siapa
makes sense
nih?
as well. There is no way
Lu
Tundra
ngairan gua
after
jodoh
that
ada
last game was
OBS
gonna let
studio
through the
kok.
second phase of
Gua
battle.
lagi buka, gua lihat setting nggak ada,
If
Cok.
you're Tundra, you're
Kan udah bilang nggak
probably
ada,
happier
anjir.
with this because it's
Lu
still
malah
a
bilang ada.
flexible hero
Wah, lu
for
gila
you
juga lu,
with the
Cok.
Sand King. And you
Ada, gua bilang nggak
think of
ada. Kalau misalnya ada
heroes that
streaming
you
kayaknya
can
baru
use to
kayaknya
maybe
ada.
abuse the underlord in the
Cuma lu
lane.
Orang gua tadi lihat di
Do those
Nggak
exist
ada.
anymore? Because I
Nggak
feel
bakal
like
bisa masuk ke
people don't
OBS-nya.
care anymore. Like
Aku
Monkey
OBS-nya
King,
nggak ada, emang
like,
nggak ada.
Monkey King doesn't even really win these lanes anymore just because
Gua main
they
TikTok
nerfed
udah
the Jingo at
biasa
level 1.
doang.
It's really bad. So it takes a while for you to get level 3. And if
Iya,
you
memang itu
pair
sendiri
with any
platformnya
range
sendiri kan.
position 4, that
Iya,
can just
TikTok.
do harassment damage. damage, you can lose this lane very easily. Same with these Ursa type heroes, these Slark heroes. Like, you just typically don't want these heroes in general. I feel like Monkey King as a carry, it doesn't win. Like, we've seen it lose time and time again here. I'm going to die on the hill of the the carry pool is very, very tiny right now.
Enggak, maksudnya kalau YouTube kan ada streaming kayaknya. Ya, TikTok kan nggak ada memang platform sendiri.
Do you guys think that with the Underlord being first phase, that means Game has to consider the Rubik or top?
Yeah, for sure. Like they have to think about banning your Rubik. Like,
Iya,
even support position, Rubik is just it's too difficult for Underlord to play into.
Tapi ada orang yang bilang bahwa TikTok itu ada di OBS.
Yeah, they could do that. I mean, we talked about the counters to Underlord and lane and the way to counter those counters.
Enggak, yang maksudnya orang yang lu debatin itu loh yang
Go back to the audience. I want to know what he got.
Aduh, dapat kayak gitu sih.
Now we'll never know.
Well, they got the inch anyway. That's what we thought they would first pick. This hero's just looked really good throughout the tournament. Protective Wisp facet has looked very nice, very tanky. And once you transition, basically the early game plays out like this. You just run in there, win your lanes. You're very tanky in the early mid game. Then the late game hits. You're just a turret. Like, it just transitions from a tank into a backline damage dealer, and it does a lot of damage.
Yeah. The nice thing for Gamen's draft is they always like to have these two aura buyers, you know, the drums, the crimson, the pipe, and so forth. They have them already, so the rest of the draft can be simply responses to Tundra's heroes in terms of one-to-one counters, and then also heroes would just give them a better game in the mid game. Like right now, they lack a little bit of team fight. Is Tusk still in the pool?
Oh yeah, he's opening it right. What does he want?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's too bad.
I feel more bad for his teammates because he's going to be spamming Meepa now in his pubs just to show up that Crimson. I'm glad we got to witness that.
Yeah,
any other Crimson witness openers in the crowd?
Well, we need Steam Deck users first.
I wonder why I'm getting so many emails from Jenkins, you know. I just wonder why.
You mean you don't have to Crimson witness?
Jenkins? I can send you some if you want. They take the Tusk on Tundra. I think that makes sense. Anytime you see the Edge come out, the best pairing in Dota for right now seems to be the Tusk. Like, these two heroes are just so incredible at diving towers, and I think they make up for the things that the other ones lack. Decent amount of wave push. Like I said, the tower dive, Edge can run in and heal, so they take this out. Tundra has two melee heroes. I'm expecting a ranged hero to probably come out here. Range support maybe.
Potentially. So far, this
Tuh kan itu dia pakai TikTok live studio sendiri,
It's been blow for blow, I want to say. It's been very even, which I think is really good. The last two drafts I looked at them, I was like, oh, this team's getting drafted already. So far, it doesn't feel super even. But Shadow Demon, that might sway me a little bit because the last two games, this Shadow Demon has not looked good. I don't see the appeal against the Underlord whatsoever.
I'm gonna need someone to get me back on the bandwagon of Shadow Demon, okay? I understand. Yeah, a little bit, because for so long in the early phases of the International, it was a first phase ban. Now,
lalu ibaratnya debat sama siapa? Sama gua, apa sama orang lain kan?
Because I think Underlord you kind of want the off laner.
Sama viewer lu.
Sorry, not Shadow Demon. You want to be stacking early game. I'm not really that big a fan of SD because it's more difficult to abuse that. Yeah, and now we are gonna see an attack. I think against Sanking, it's important to have a hero that can kind of outpace and maybe steal.
Oh, ada orang yang masuk live dulu di TikTok gitu.
I mean, we saw.
Interrupt you real quick. Sorry, there's only one carry left in Luna. Carry on.
We saw Dratio do the tech of disassembling his Radiance as well. Whenever he got it, so it's you think the SD is a counter because you get the Radiance, but not with this new tech that Dratio has discovered.
He just
udah bilang ke dia itu TikTok, OBS ya nggak bisa masuk situ.
Well, then they need a hero to
bisa katanya bisa. Lu aja nggak tahu udah
So we're gonna have to see something new from Pure, most likely, because I don't think the Luna's gonna make it through. They made a choice like what's best for the game, and most definitely Doom versus Alchemist is a no-brainer. You're playing versus like the Greaves on the side of Gaiman, and then of course the chemical range gives you region as well. Doom shuts down all of that, even the Wisp as well from the IO. So it's a really pick. But they made a sacrifice to the point where this Alchemist, it's pretty contested between the lone druids out, the Wind Rangers out. So
Lu
what's
malah bilangnya,
Okay.
oke, wah mati
I'm
juga
gonna make
lu,
my
Cok.
1 in 100 call here.
Tadi gua lihat.
What if this is
Gua
a pure
tadi lihat-lihat kan.
Berarti lu belum settingan, lu belum cek settingan segala macam dong di OBS ngeliatnya.
plays Doom carry.
Ayo.
Belum.
Tanking mid.
Iya, makanya pas itu gue cek kan di settingannya ternyata nggak ada.
Enggak nih ya.
Just call me an idiot. Get it over with.
Emang nggak ada kan?
It definitely could work.
Nggak ada, Cik. Kalau
I don't
emang
know if it's the
ada.
best option. We'll see. Because like
Kan
I mentioned,
dengerin,
the Luna's
kan gue
gone
bilang
now,
nggak
so
ada.
your
Kalau
options
misalkan
for
bener
carry
ada
are
kan,
going to be very low.
pasti kan
Maybe
pakai
it is better to
remake-nya.
pick a-
Kan gue awalnya bilang kalau ada.
carry than pick a
Berarti kan itu
D-tier carry as your
itu kan
carry.
belum tentu ada kan?
Something there.
Ini bilangnya
I mean, there's not those
apa ya, Cek kan? Wah, mati nggak lu, Cek. Gua
like,
cari di
great
TikTok.
carries that we've normally
Itu
seen
nggak ada
picked
ketemu
up that you're talking
KT-nya
about
segala
with the
macam,
looming the last
iya.
one band out there. But
Iya kan
there's
gue
still
bilang kalau ada.
carries that
Bener
Pure
nggak?
has done
Kalau
amazing
ada
on,
kan?
and why you
Berarti
really
kan belum tentu
towards
itu
those,
ada
he's
kan?
had amazing performances
Emang gue salah ngomong?
before. Is there just something about the game and lineup that really dissuades that?
Slow though, it's slow.
That's what I was thinking.
They need
Kalau gue bilang kalau misalkan iya ada kayaknya TikToknya ada kayaknya baru bisa kan gue bilang kalau ada.
Budget for Doom carry.
Kalau ada kan berarti kan
Lu pamannya bilang
misal
gitu.
ada.
Doesn't look like there's many
Nah.
things left.
Berarti lu
Because you
belum cek
typically
segala
don't want to pick
macam
these
sih.
DKs and those type of heroes against the Underlord,
Kan
right?
gue bilang
Because in the
kalau
free lane,
ada.
Underlord is also good versus Mortal.
Kalau itu kan berarti kan
I'm very
belum
curious
tentu
as to
ada
what
kan?
he's going to think
Iya.
about, because you don't last pick carry
bilangnya
for a reason
Iya,
in this
iya.
patch.
sih,
Because
berarti lu
there's
cek
not many good
OBS-nya.
carries in this patch. But he's on last pick situation.
Enggak.
Nah,
There's
sekarang
been
lu
like
cek kan?
5 to
Bener
6
nggak? Lu cek
carries
kan
banned
sekarang kan
out.
tadi kan?
Iya, gue cek kan memang nggak ada kan?
Anti-carry for a lot of them as
Nggak
well.
ada.
I would like to see an old hero like Watson was pulling out, like an Underlord that's really strong in the lane. Like some TA could be okay. I don't know, it's tough.
Luckily, we're not going to have to wait too long. The reserve time is getting low, less than 10 seconds at the moment. They're going to just have to look in whatever they're hovering.
They
1 in 100 Jenkins.
are not sure.
Tanya yang cewek itu di bawah juga tuh
Oh,
orang.
wow.
Talked about that hero from the very first pick of the Underlord. In theory, it's good. I like it. It should be okay in the lane just because Bat is a little bit of a weaker hero against Slark. You can
Gaming gak
right
tuh pakai
click him
backlider
down.
sih, ini orang
I'm just not
gila
sure
loh
who's going
anjing.
to be pairing with the Slark. Is it going to be the ST?
Gila, kenapa?
I kind of want to see the Tusk.
Tadi
Just go
sebelumnya
for all in
lawannya
action,
si
just try to
Tundra
get him
pakai
down.
backlider.
The bigger question is,
Terus?
does this fit the
Oh dia
budget?
dia ini.
Iya, tadi sebelumnya
Yes,
2R,
because
gantian
he's
dong.
going to run around the map after
Maksudnya apa ya anjir?
just one item, and he's going to be pressuring, and he's going to be
Aneh,
looking at contesting the stacks on L. I think Slug against L
Wah,
is always a
Slug sekarang mainnya,
matchup.
coy.
If you can survive the
Tundra
early stages,
akhirnya
Slug is just going to be
main
very
Aki,
good against
coy.
L. Like, all these tanky heroes, they can regen, and Slug likes to keep getting stacks out of the L. Very good against the bat,
Kan
decent in the
terakhir dia,
lane
ya.
against Underlord.
Yeah. I mean, hypothetically, he should be able to survive the early stages because he counters both the Underlord and the Bat in lane. This makes me think maybe Gaiman, that they just want to run Bat mid against
I thought about that. I also thought about Leshrac potentially for Quinn. Very good versus Slark.
Not so good against a Doom though.
But it kind of like forces you to like not do the Alec, I guess. But yeah, they're gonna go a different direction here in the
Dan
community.
kita pakai kamera screen.
This hero is, I think, pretty good against the Slug.
Background-nya.
I mean, Slug is very vulnerable to
Lu
burst
ngerti
in the
mainnya,
early
Cok?
game. And I think Queen is an excellent hero to respond to the Slug's aggression
Mana,
when he's
mana,
coming
mana,
into the
mana.
jungle. Because I feel
Background.
like at some point, they're going to need to
Kamera.
defend their stacks or go to the
Kenapa
second
emang?
stacks and try to steal it.
Screen-
I
screen
think
kayak
Queen
di
is one
belakang
of
itu bisa
the best
diganti
heroes to
nggak?
be able to do that. This is a very good
Nah,
pick
TikTok
him
sih
out.
emang
I mean,
ada.
anything that has like ground
Gua nggak tahu
targeted
ya.
AoE
Sepenuhnya.
damage and burst is really good against Slark. You can just die
Di
in the
OBS gua
ult.
belum pernah
Also,
ngetes
when
sih.
you purge
Nggak
the
pernah
Queen of
pakai
Pain
gitu.
Dagger
Gua
and she has
bisa
Axe,
background-nya.
you get immediately screamed. Like a lot of the time,
juga.
Green screen gitu.
plus the ult
Green
plus
screen
another
gitu
scream is
bukan?
enough to kill this
Ya.
hero when he's
Apa-
trying to do the thing where he baits and he gets
Screen,
low
pokoknya
and then
screen di
ults.
belakangnya lah.
Like this is a pretty good matchup for Queen.
Yeah. I mean, I love both these drafts. I feel like this is the
Udah
most
empat sama
even
gua,
draft
gua-
we've seen almost
gua aja lah,
all
itu
of
gua
the
nggak
main
pernah
stage
tampil
here,
pakai
and
aja.
it's for game number 3, so I'm expecting an incredibly
Screen sih
exciting
emang
series.
ada.
It really is going
Gua
to
nggak
come down
sampai
to
sana.
who plays this one best,
Mainnya.
because both drafts look really good.
Okay, so it's going to be who woke up this morning eager to make it to the grand finals, who woke up and having that slight mechanical skill diff on their side. I do not normally like to ask you guys for predictions, but I'm going to have to do it. It's our first game 3, and the winner is going through to the grand finals to face up against Team Liquid. So starting down with you, Joki.
I refuse.
Gua aja nggak ada pengalaman screen itu.
I defer.
Go white man.
Gaming Gladiators is taking this all the way.
Gaming Gladiators all the way. I said how many people might be on your side in the arena. I mean, Winter, you've taken the side of SEA, Whitemon. You think Tundra are going to make it to the grand finals and win a game 3?
I mean, it's Sand King, you know, you don't go up against Sand King.
That's true. We've only really seen Sand King fall in 2 games before Fear, but you're going to be the decider for the panel as to what we predict.
Okay, well, I'm a carry player myself, and I feel like Pure has really been showing up so far at this event. He picked a hero that isn't easy to play, but can have massive impact, so I think Tundra's going to take this on the back of Pure Slark.
Wow, okay, so you think it's going to be the Pure Slark? We got a lot of people in the crowd.
Gua udah nonton.
So,
Di mana?
Gua
lagi nonton di Kebajikan.
I guess majority of rules. We do have to go here for Tundra, but we've also got to head down to one more person, and that's Slacks.
Biasanya mid gak sih cuy? Lot shit.
Serius. Tadi pagi.
Sand King, cok, lawannya. Sand King siapa? Si ini ya? Topson ya?
Tapi dia tipe farming nggak si Topsonnya nih?
Berat sih, ada POP. Kalau dia apa? Mainin skill 1 sama 3
mutan kan.
Dia tetap mutan.
Gue bingung loh ya. Biasanya yang pertama tuh mid ya, farmingnya kencang kan.
30 seconds to battle.
Ya sih. Queen. Gue pilih siapa sih? Ramsey, Doom.
Ngepot.
Kurang anjir. Artemis juga. Artemis sih gila juga loh kalau farming cok. Udah, gue pilih si SK deh anjing deh. Gak OP sih sebenarnya sih cuy.
And thank you to those 2 men and the teams that gave us a game 3 here in the lower bracket finals. Welcome everybody to Gaming Gladiators versus Tundra. Game 3 is already going to start off with a bit of action. Both the teams poking at each other. As Gaming Gladiators put their faith in one hero, Tundra another. For Tundra it's the king, and for Gaming Gladiators the queen. Sand King versus Queen of Pain mid. With the side lanes, just action all over the place. Both these teams fighting for bounties, fighting for position on the lanes already.
Another explosive mid matchup, and not one I think Topson's going to get cheesed out of as much in that first game. And we saw him come back from that. So this is a terrifying hero to give away to Tundra on this player right now. He's absolutely feeling it, looking to repeat that game 1 performance. And of course, the Queen of Pain, an historic hero for the NA server, as I'm sure he has killed many's in MMR. Can't even say that. On the flip side, this Slark making an appearance here in the clutch in a game 3, where you need to go to the grand finals. You go to Slark. Such a bold pick. A hero that in theory absolutely owns this game. You have to be able to get there. There's a lot of theory, because there's a reason we don't see this hero often, right? A very volatile hero. He can crush a team fight. He can do nothing. It's all about building up
First blood's available. Self-disruption with Pure coming back in. Now Pure tries to get some stacks, but the damage coming out from Tofu and Ace is too much for him to handle. But I guess he does buy Whitemon a way back out there. The first kill of game 3 still on the table.
Running low on regen already though. Sometimes Slark can suffer in these early spell trades, because unless you can just run a hero down and build the stacks up, he doesn't trade that well. You're kind of looking for that sort of exchange. He'll continue to muscle his way through this lane phase. He wants as good a start as he can, so you get that first item as fast as possible. You can join the fights and start building your own momentum instead of relying on the team. Feeling the Sand King laning phase is not that fun of a matchup for him right now.
Yeah, if he's got the mana, he's got to do a level up in every single one of his abilities. Burrow Strike, Sandstorm, and then a Stinger. That really adds up.
I do like the Queen pick though. This is a hero we saw Liquid go to yesterday that can really bring you that later team fight scale. 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 barely dodging a
missing out of the shards, but maybe they can still get the kill. No, he self-denies. He says, you're not getting the first blood. I'll take myself out. And it's Tofu. He gets it instead. So because 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 makes that move, his ally gets the heap of gold.
We've seen 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 do this a lot on this hero. He times it pretty well. He can play for it a lot of times. Makes the move there and gets 𝙎𝘼𝘋 a big win in this early game. First blood once again going their way. Quinn starting to climb back on that CS board in the lanes. Looking solid for 𝙎𝘼𝘋 so far. They also went back for this Enchantress, taking it away from Tundra, realizing the strength of this hero in that early game, particularly with what 𝙬𝘋𝘆 was able to do on it. They're going to look to match that early game presence, and it's a hero Celery is super comfortable with here. So I expect if they have a strong lane on this bottom with the 𝙬𝘋, that the Edge can potentially look for the gate rotations, especially if you can put some early pressure into the Slark. Not a hero that generally responds well to being outnumbered in the early fights.
Tricky buddies to add the damage, going for the kill on Celery. 𝙎𝘊𝘾𝙄𝘼 is racking up an unstable concoction, ready to throw it because Celery will survive. And now they're just trying to max out the damage they can push back onto Tundra. Boy, both these teams just getting full aggro here. Whether it was through the bounty runes and the little harassments there we've had there, also fighting for every single CS. Neither team wants to give any free ground in this laning phase, which feels all important. Another unstable concoction, another go. This time heading to 𝙬𝘋𝑆. 𝙬𝘋𝑆 doesn't have the scorched earth, the extra movement speed required. Shard separates him, but the burnout of the acid is more than enough. With the help of the pine cone, they're going to be able to get that kill and trade out support for core to the favor of 𝙎𝘼𝘋.
Wah, imbang ini 50-50 om. Gua nggak bisa prediksinya anjing. Arrow-nya aja udah kayak gini tuh.
Saya mati tadi.
Not expecting that one. This Enchantress is already level 4 almost. Having a very strong laning phase here, and I mean, giving Tundra a taste of their own medicine.
What a hero!
Looks on.
I mean, if anyone was going to be able to match the impact that 𝙬𝘋𝘆's Enchantress had in game 1, it certainly is going to be Celery, who's going to give him a run for his money. Top lane, disruption goes out. Ace, the target here, the tanky hero, with the help of 𝙬𝘋𝘆, they might just get him, but there is a lot of damage coming out from this Bat Rider. Meanwhile, did a good amount to 𝙎𝑊𝘶 here, but now he's on the run.
Doesn't want the courier, wants to try and live.
A flame of trails, but the shadow poison keeps on tagging him. A fifth one would probably do the damage, tries to pull him in, hits that fifth one. 𝙬𝘋𝘆 gets a double.
Pure even using the courier just to scout up the hill a little bit, give his team a little boost. The flip side though, 𝙬𝘋𝑆's going down again. Celery snags another big kill in this laning phase.
Ya, Ding menang SK, cok.
Already proving
gitu. Soalnya apa, dia punya skill 3 imply itu loh.
Free farm lane for 𝙎𝘊𝘶𝑉 at this point. Feels like Tundra just given up on this 𝙬𝘋𝘆 lane.
Tapi bisa cepet, cok. Dia pakai skill 3 itu loh yang
dia balik nih. Gua nggak tahu nih.
Kayak BKB gitu loh. BKB Telfuri gitu loh.
Pecah-pecah.
The Doom here, just because the utility out from Doom versus 𝙬𝘋𝑆 is pretty severe. There's no real way you can play around in this game. And it's a hero that just recovers a bit better.
The Underlord, more reliant on winning the laning phase, and his laning phase is rough right now. A Sonic Wave comes out for Quinn. It doesn't save Ace, but it can maybe get some kills. Epicenter being threatened, pushing Quinn away while the Slark tries to get out, but Tofu puts him down. Still no. He finds Quinn. He gets that kill. Tofu still chasing after 𝙎𝘶𝑆. Will manage to get that one. So Tofu, the support is the one to clean up, but it's the cores who suffer for 𝙬𝘼𝑋 Gladiators.
𝙬𝘼𝑋, their cores miss a lot of experience in that fight, and the damage from the Queen of Pain just not enough there. It was a very clutch shard from 𝙎𝘶𝑆 going down, but he locks Quinn into the range of that epicenter going off from tops and secured that kill at the end. Still 𝙬𝘋 free farming on this bottom lane, but it does cost 𝙬𝘼𝑋's cores some speed and tempo in this game and boost 𝙬𝘆 and back up the Sand King straight to the top here in terms of levels, CS, and almost net worth. He's comparing himself to the Alchemist right now. That is a good sign.
I do feel like Sand King has got to be the scariest hero at this tournament. What so many players have managed to do with this hero, whether through a good laning phase or not, just because the recovery found in the jungle seems to be so efficient for this hero. 6-5 now, 7-minute Wisdom Rune spawn. No early contests here from either Gaming Gladiators or Tundra. They're too focused on keeping their presence in the lanes for now, especially Gaming Gladiators, who still have 3 at this top.
Pure made the rotation, mid got a D ward. Now we'll run back top to try and defend this tower as Gaiman looking for the dive.
Whitemon's in trouble, but he does have some support coming in. Pure's gonna show up here. Can he do anything at all? I mean, these 3 heroes, it's just too much for him. Especially, yeah, as you said, level 5, without an escape mechanism in his ultimate, he really cannot step up to any of these heroes. And Topson's too busy farming neutrals to help.
It's looking about going back in. Epicenter in 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, with Ramsey's now here, they want to try and use this Doom nice and early. Ace, he'll be left behind. They didn't even have to use Doom for that one. Sonic Wave goes out, but he whips a big one there, and Tundra plenty of water now. The little Slark is gonna pick up a kill in Celery and get 1 stack for himself.
4 permanent Agi for Pure already. Not the worst start for a level 5 Slark. Oh, deliver for the levels. We'll get a courier as well. What is 𝙈𝙀𝘿𝑄's courier even doing there? I don't know.
Well, he went through the gate and tried to get himself his items there, but he instead finds that because of the missed Sonic Wave, that fight, it was already done for Gaming Gladiator.
That really hurt Gaiman there. You want every one of these early game Sonic Waves to at least land 1 core kill or win you a team fight there. It just gets nothing, the snowball dodge. And now Tundra gets to pressure the map a bit more with that cooldown. Thompson continuing to hunt here, half HP, doesn't care, wants the AUK.
Yeah, Thompson's just not leaving him alone. The disruption set up into the epicenter. Burrow strike, it's close. A snowball needs a little bit more. Nah, the AoE damage of the epicenter is enough. Thompson, though, gonna get burned out. Gets a little screen there from Quinn to finish him up. Stocks a wise TP out, allows him to be able to bail. They got their kill on the Alchemist, but the Gaming Gladiators did get a lot in return for him. Shutting down
late game lebih menang Tundra sih, soalnya ada saat
and Quinn getting the kill pickup. Boosts Queen of Pain back up the charts. He needed a big influx of gold like that. Gaiman supports are doing a lot of work in the early game. They're currently out leveling Tundra. Level 6 is online for the Bat and the Edge compared to the level 5s here. But these snowball saves the whole series, man. Slgame just putting on an absolute clinic. Just dodges so much every fight. This is going to be a spell that Gaiman have to play around a bit better than in that game 1.
They have a lot of heroes that, if they survive a few more seconds, they can output a ton more damage, right? Epicenter, Sandstorm, the Slark is a big part of that as well.
And this is going to be the MO in the fight. Like, Gaiman have to play through a lot of saves and a lot of disruption on the side of Tundra. You have Slark with Depth Shroud, Disruption, and Snowball save that can all go on this Topson Sand King on the front line. And while you're waiting for him to come out of all those saves, he's dealing the damage to you. He's wearing you down. Finding the backline in this game would be delicious for Gaiman.
The backdoor hits on these towers do not seem to stop. Whether it's the Enchantress or with some of these other games with like Lycans in the game and stuff, it's just constant. You may have had the waves pushed in, but all of a sudden these random neutrals or wolves or what have you come out of the woodwork and start chipping away at your towers, and that's what's happening to Tundra here. Celery, he's trying to do what he can on this Enchantress to take objectives. He's now prancing his way up to the top lane where Pure is going to get some good D-warding going on. That'll help him.
Yeah, he's been active, helping out with the wards. So we'll be a smoke bottom with the Queen of Pain here. Sonic Wave back up, looking for the Dagon build-up, just more burst damage, but you're far away for now. Arcane Rune, however, is what makes this gank extra juicy if you can land it. Tundra playing safe down here, but both supports are here, so they might feel confident pushing forward. Still don't know Quinn lurking in the trees.
He almost walking in melee range there of Tofu.
And look at Celery mid. He's just pushing this tier 1, trying to get somebody to show on the map, get some sort of pressure in response if this gank fails bottom. He's getting some serious tower damage. No one's responding to this. Tundra taking a defensive stance right now. They want the mage side on Pure. That's going to be his first item on this Slark. Allow him to go in the fight, be tanky.
Finally, he does get his response, but is he going to regret pushing this one? It looks like his heal is just too much. The damage over time from Tundra cannot seem to contest the heal over time that the Enchantress brings. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 needs to get a snowball on out of here, and he does have one. That'll get him to the edge of the pit, and they'll walk away.
Everybody walks it off. Blink reveal for Topson. Epicenter on cooldown. Did put the Sonic Wave on cooldown, but that's an Arcane Rune.
He still jumps the Queen of Pain, though there wasn't any immediate follow-up. They needed a smoke after that. It sounds like they need to poke into getting a reaction out of Gaming Gladiators and then a fast move. Where's this move going to go to, though?
I mean, Celery saw them take the rune bottom, so Topson's just going to show. But the second half of this move might catch 𝙎𝙀𝘿𝘄𝘼 off guard. I mean, these are juicy camps to leave.
Oh, he's so close. The courier is leading right to him. He's going to get through the gate before the smoke can arrive.
That's a very clutch play from 𝙎𝙀𝘿𝘄𝑼. I mean, you would love to stay there for those mini golems and all the Greevil's Greed bonus.
Oh, yeah.
But just makes the read that smoke is coming into him, and he is closing in on this Sacred Relic. If he doesn't die right now, he's going to have it in the next minute and a half here. Smoke continues on through the gate.
Love that play. Using the courier to see if there's anybody else coming through the gate after him. And he sees, okay, it's a Shadow Demon. He loses courier for it. Who cares? He got info out of it. Enough info that he feels comfortable staying in this lane. It's not just a Shadow Demon. That's not enough to threaten this Alchemist.
Gue baru tahu
Clear
bisa masuk ke
courier,
portal.
but can always head over to the shop himself to finish up that Radiance.
True.
Masuk ke portal.
Big decisions for Gaiman are when do you fight with this Alchemist, though? Are you confident for him to join fights with
Oh, tahu
only the
deh gua.
Radiance?
Udah ngeblank
Or
anjing.
wait later on for a BKB timing, something of this nature? And where's your defense against the Sand King going to come from? Ace is building a first item pipe. It's going to be a little slow here, though.
Mid tower is going to die here. Celery just trying to make sure that there's no chance of 𝙎𝙀𝘾𝙄𝘼 getting a deny. Good use of the enchant to give him the extra damage. Quickly taking 30 seconds left till another round of Wisdom Runes. We've seen a lot of action around these. We'll see if Gaming Gladiators or Tundra want to try and make a move.